And once again I've run out of silly things to display on screen. Hello everyone! And just looking at these volume levels here, and I think I'm going to be perfectly audible over the background noise, but y'all can let me know. But first things first, hello Rizalka, hello DD, have a good lurk. Hello Pixie Coo, hello Steel Morgan. Hello His Cussedness. And hello Summer, I believe that is all the unique people. And indeed, some people who have had trouble with customers that get way too close to open flames way too often. That's a lot. That's... oh dear. Well, how are you all? How are you all doing? Some of you are up very early, and thank you for that. And in particular, thank you very much for the resubscription, Rizalka. You are kind and thoughtful. And there's a Sewa. Hello. Hello. Let's see, I've done a couple of things that I should probably check are still working. Let's see how long that takes. Maybe that's not working at all. I pressed a button that should make a sound effect go off, and I think it just did, but because I wasn't monitoring it, I didn't get to find out if it had properly worked or not. It's a weird delay. And oh, Nick, thank you very much for the subscription.
That doesn't work.
And for the that doesn't work redeem. I think you'll find it does. It does work. There was a Zebedee button. Well spotted, Steel Morgan. Thing is, I'm pressing it now, and you'll notice the delay in how long it takes to go off. Not figuring out why that is.
What?
I do love the what. I love it so much. I am indeed going to be on camera, Sarah. And in fact, why don't we... God damn it. I say that like I didn't put in the redeem myself. Unfortunately, 2 went off at once, and that didn't appear to stack up, unfortunately. So, since Steel Morgan also redeemed it,
it's a table.
Get another one. See, that goes off the instant I press it. It's weird. I don't think I have much news to report other than that. Oh, Sarah. No, don't make me take a compliment. Not in this economy. I am the table. I'm kind of tempted to edit that together. I am the table. That'll be good. No, not compliments. I can't. Ah. Okay. So the point of what we're actually doing here today. So I'll switch over to the appropriate scene. So here we are. You will notice there are 2 cameras because I'm a fancy bitch. I don't know.
It's a table.
So thank you, Nick. I should move this thing that you can't see that has my stream information on it. Oh, excuse me. I have to... where's Alka? Sorry, I'm bad with compliments. I mean, you are right, Nick. It is a table. And yes, there are 2 cameras in play. There's one up here, and if I put my hand down and I move it over to the side, then it's visible. So yeah, there are 2 cameras in play here. One of which should really have the light balance nailed down, but it doesn't. And yes, I know, I have to say it. Pixie Cow says Icky Foo, and I have to say Pixie Coo. Only hats. Oh Jesus, Sarah. So there is a reason behind this, and there is a reason behind not revealing what I am playing today, for it is not a video game. Looks like a model assembly shenanigans. For some reason, reading shenanigans caused me to completely error on saying assembly. Oh, you lie too much. Anyway, there's a reason I have 2 cameras in play here, and that is because This is what we're doing. Sorry, it might be a little out of focus there, but that's because the focus is set for down here rather than up here. Down here, not up here. I need to cut my nails actually. And you might wonder why I've gone for something like this when, one, it's one of the lesser known of the fighting fantasy books. These are choose your own adventure books, essentially, a brand of that type of book. Adventure game book is the term I like to use. It's a generic one rather than trademarked. So yes, fighting fantasy books are popular. This one lesser known. Why go for that, and why not just use one of the ones released on Steam? Well, because this one is not on Steam and I want to play it because there's a fucking giant robot fighting a dinosaur on the cover. How can you not love that? Oh, Steel Morgan, have you got a collection too? I think mine is somewhere under half complete, something like that. I can't remember if that factors in the duplicates. So, if you're unfamiliar with Choose Your Own Adventure or Adventure Game Books, I feel like I probably don't have to explain this one, but you know, just for the broader audience and anybody who happens across the VOD. Hello, Talia. You have been summoned. Yes. This is a book in which you start at a chapter, you make a choice, you flip to whichever chapter you pick is numbered, so like for this one, you choose that one, turn to 265, so you go to 265 and eventually you die. That's the short version of all this. And Sarah's redeemed Go Fall Glasgow, so this will be an even more incomprehensible explanation. Where the fighting fantasy books are a bit more complicated is that they actually feature combat, because what is it? Yeah, they actually have you do rolls in this, and I have literally just realised I might not have enough dice for this, or at least not to hand. Because there is dice rolling in this, and naturally I keep dice on my desk because. Also, look how fancy. This is one my friend got for a Kickstarter, I think it was. And he wasn't that into the dice, but he figured I'd be able to use them, so he was like, do you want this? And I was like, I'm sure if you're giving it away. And I believe that is, yeah, 6 is a cat. His cat. It is very close to my purple, isn't it? Possibly why he bore me in mind when he gave us that. So I got things like skill, stamina, luck, and it says initial because it might go up and down as it goes. Don't worry, I'm not going to write on the book itself. Got pad and paper nearby for that, which is close enough in shot. And you've got possessions as well, which you think for this kind of scenario swords wouldn't be involved, but that's what we start with. And on top of that, we get to specify what robots that we own and drive about. The only reason you don't keep dice on your desk is your shiny rock habit is currently at your GM's place with your current character. I see. I don't know if it's a regular thing, but when I was running a game, I would actually just hold on to all the character sheets. Because we'd only play at my house, so it made sense for it to be there. Anyway, I will be back in just a few seconds, for I need to get another D6. Back again. And also I've just realised I can update the stream info to what we're actually doing. Which one? Which one? Just go with the other purple one, why don't we? This is just a cheap set of dice that I got for when I was DMing that D&D game. Because nobody else had dice. And I wanted them all to have dice, so got a bunch of ones in different colours. Did the job fine. Okay. So, I do believe that I'm surprised I don't have a bigger dice habit than I have. Thank you for the table. Did you cut the hair? I thought you were growing the top section. Yes, yes I did. So, another small diversion, because why the hell not? I was growing out my hair, just this middle bit, and slicking it back, but I was keeping the short back and sides. Problem is that I decided I can't be arsed with this. It keeps falling all over the place and I can't be bothered pomading, putting stuff in it to keep it in place, because it hadn't grown to the point where I could bun it or ponytail it. So yeah, I got bored and just said fuck it, I'll cut it short again. But I'd already done the back and sides in the kind of very sheer, it stops here type of thing. Actually that'll be a better demonstration. We're just shaving up to there. So I had no hair left to do proper blending when I decided to cut it short. So I'll need to wait for that to grow back in. Too many dice in the panda enclosure. Don't do it. I bought way too many dice in the pandemic. Worth it. Well, now I don't know what to think, Sarah. But yes, it's fairly short. It's actually a little longer than I would normally get it cut, but if I was going to a hairdresser, but thing is there, I want that haircut to last, so I get it cut really quite short, and then it grows into the ideal length. Yeah, so these aren't bad. I can't imagine all four or five sets of dice cost more than like 15 quid, so they are cheap dice, but they're quite nice. Now I'm starting to worry that the autofocus is on this, which I don't want. But if I start fucking around with it now, it might go horribly, horribly wrong. So, what do? We actually start at the beginning because, you know, why the fuck not? I believe we've got stats to roll up. So, sorry. Just got this in my usual computer space, so having to arrange the stuff around the fact there's a big bloody keyboard in the way. Also, I'm going to change up the sound a little bit. Closest I could think of to a desert-looking planet in which robots and monsters might be involved was the Dune 2 soundtrack for PC, so whacking that on. Okay, hopefully that volume will be correct. Okay, Nick, cover your ears for a second. Dare we ask Nick about the toasters? I'm curious, but I don't want this to be the rest of his night, you know? Result is redeemed hydrate, and it can be proven that I hydrate. And considering how much talking I'm about to do compared to how much I usually talk, that hydrate is
That doesn't work.
I mean, I think it does. Like putting the water in the face, it's perfectly functional. I don't know what you're talking about. Except it was to do with the redeem. Any toaster made since 1960. That's going to be a long list, Nick. I do not envy you in your task. Okay, so first thing I'm actually going to do is find the character sheet, as it were, and just copy that onto paper. Go, Stam, and look. yes, I am doing this in pen with the intention of just crossing stuff out. We'll see how that goes. Sorry, 1 second. Medkit Fev. I was going to do, what do you call it, lines. Then I realised it's impossible to cross that out without crossing out the whole bastard thing, which might as well do that with numbers. And then the robots. Armour, Spud, Cumbut, and Banus. And I can just copy that layout as and when needed. Oh my god. See, I was afraid there was a rant coming with this one. And my dad has left me a voicemail. Whether that was intentional or not, I shall find out. We had it right, we made a good toaster in the past and we ruined everything. Toaster's delicious, but toasters are bad at it. Sunbeam perfected the toaster in 1960, sold it for a couple of decades, then fucked it up. I don't know why I did the exact same voice as I've read out his cursedness as one. I think the similar purples threw me off. Oh, something else people might not know about me. Gonna need reading glasses for this, and we'll see how long that lasts up against headphones. And you have to go full Glasgow. Alright. It's cool you never had a CYOA with stat blocks. Yep, that's pretty much every Fighting Fantasy book I think has stat blocks in it. Oh dear. I often thought it funny that if I'm writing in all caps, my handwriting is pretty much identical to mine. I just can't be arsed with joined up writing. If I write it down in all caps, chances are folk are going to be able to read it. Right,
It's
so
a table.
it is a table. Thank you very much for the... You're fucking loving that, Redeem. How many points do you even have? Because you've been in here before, so you may well have gotten yourself quite a collection. So, don't need to keep a thumb on that one. 10,000. Oh, is that all? Alright. Well, say stat blocks, you know, shit like this. And counter book. We don't really need something like this. This is just like folk you're going to pummel into the ground. You can write that off to the side. It's fine. Obviously, because there's that section there and there's that section there. There may be folk piloting mechs as well. Right, so roll 1 die, add 6, and that is war skill 8. Roll both dice, add 12, so 6, 10, 22. That is pretty good. So 2 add 6. Problem is, I think luck is one of those ones where you have to roll low to pass. Nat 1, guess a paper cut. No. Yeah, it's just telling us all of the robot stats. Right. And this is just going through how combat works. Jealous to see you write with the pen against your index finger. Soon, Rizalka. I hope the upcoming thing will sort that out. Yeah, fingers crossed. Actually, it's much more obvious if I do it down here, isn't it? Tell you what, one of each. So for combat to happen, roll both dice once for the foe. Add its strength score. That's its attack. Do the same for yourself. Add skill store. If yours is higher than its, you've wounded it, and you take 2 stamina away from them. And I may use luck to do additional damage. And the opposite is true of the other side, except if I use luck, it'll reduce the damage. Does it say see below? Maybe it didn't say see below and I've just made that up. No, it says see below. It just means, you know, like 2 fucking pages later. Yeah. Yeah, roll 2 dice, and if you roll lower than your luck score, you have been lucky. Yay! And every time you test your luck, you lose a point of luck. Just goes down, and I've only got 8, so I'm gonna have to be lucky the first time. The insurance side of that is fucked, but I've worked it out that I've not fucked it myself, so I feel marginally better. That's that does not seem to say that it is fixed. So surgery is only an option at the moment if the public system will get me, otherwise I'll be going with the neck injection. Yeah, forgive me, when you were on the stream earlier with Dave, I opted out of the surgery description. So it's just hints to play. You know what, this will give us an idea of what we're actually in store. We have in store, rather. You know what? Music could go up just a touch. Go with that. In this book, you will become a lone gorilla. I just realised I can read this on the screen, so I don't know why I had my key doing all the way there. Right, there we are. That was my computer making bing bong. In this book, you will become a lone gorilla fighting against a horde of invaders. There are 3 entirely different ways to defeat the invaders. One obvious, the others not so obvious. Each method requires a different path, different artifact, and different decisions. You are advised to make faithful notes about the places you visit and the things you learn. Oh, that got loud all of a sudden. What are you doing? Ahem. There was a horror game stream reading at how much detail the information sheet goes into about it seemed to make sense. Yeah, I can't knock you for that. I just decided I'm going to mute this for a bit. 4% chance to lose the ability to get an erection. Think that would be fine? Well, it's your decision. Where was I? I like how it says advise you to make faithful notes. Like I'm just going to write down shit that's made up. Because that's not going to help. About the places you visit and the things you learn. They could save your life. You will sometimes have the chance to go back to a place you've already visited during the same adventure. In any event, your notes will be useful in further adventures, enabling you to pass rapidly on to unexplored places. A little hint that you're going to play this more than once if you want to see an ending. You haven't got an erection at home? Store-bought is fine. Precisely. You may also want to make a map of the countryside as you pass through it. We will not do that. In particular, it will help you to learn the relative positions of the cities you visit. Not every spot that you visit will be helpful. Some contain only traps and foes, which you will no doubt fall foul of. Many wrong turnings are possible. I ran out of brain. And even if you reach the ultimate destination, you may not have everything you need to succeed. Oh Christ, it's going to be like an episode of Nightmare where they get all the way to the end only to find out they gave a critical item away already. Or indeed Falconhoof. It will be realised that the entries make no sense if read in numerical order. Well, yeah, jump them up, otherwise you're just reading a book. It is essential that you read only the entries you are instructed to read, starting with the background and entry 1 and continuing from there. Which is a bit of a cheat considering that, you know, a 2-page spread could have like 4 or 5 of these entries. You just have to completely blinker yourself and not read them. The one best path to victory may not be the obvious one, but it requires a minimum of risk. Any player, no matter how weak on initial dice rolls, should be able to use any of the 3 strategies fairly easily once the best path has been discovered. Good luck! You only told us one of the strategies. In fact, you just said there are 3 strategies, one of which is obvious. That is the sum total of our information. Game. book. Game book. Good luck. Thank you, Nick. So here's the background. And also, it's curious to me how, I don't know if this was like to do with printing costs or anything like that, but it's curious how they don't really go for shading. Well, they do it a little bit with these lines here, but most of the time it's just completely stark shadows, which is quite interesting. Ofu read your last message. Anyway, you are a rancher in the land of Phalos. Your people, and your enemies, the savage Carosians, have built huge robots for many purposes. With a skilled operator at the controls, a robot can replace 100 men to mine ore, erect buildings, move cargo, or just about anything else. The robots are also your best defense against the vicious dinosaurs of Phalos. Wait. Okay, might be a printing mistake there. It looked like S had a accent on it for some reason. Many years ago, the great lizards caused much destruction. And then we punched them in their fucking faces. But now, mankind has learned to tame the beasts, and many of the folk of Phalos, like yourself, are dinosaur ranchers. The ranchers use Mark 5A utility robots known as cowboys to herd the dinosaurs. But wild dinosaurs are still dangerous, and all robots have guns to defend themselves. It's that sort of weird sci-fi trope where every single ship or every single robot has guns on it for not really well explained reasons. In fact, not to bring up the fuck that is Whedon far too often than he deserves, but you know, that was kind of a thing in Firefly where it was a notable point that that ship didn't have any guns on it. Do we have a name or do we make one? I don't think we're ever called to like write it down or anything, so if you have a suggestion, then I will read it and then say that's far too silly, let's not go there, because I know you and that seems like a statistical likelihood. Early one morning, you are just finishing your breakfast when one of your assistants staggers into the kitchen. So sleepy, he says. Then he sits down at the table, pillows his head on his arms, and finally bites the bullet and goes to fix the focus on this because it's just wrong. Now, which one of these is focus again? Okay, that might do it. Federico Vagabond III. Esquire or no? No, don't wallop the clampy arm thing that's holding your phone that you're using as a camera. You shake him, but you cannot rouse him. Alarmed, you go for help, but everyone else you see is asleep. You rush back inside and switch on a radio, but you can only get scraps of messages. Everybody's asleep. Carosian attack, can't stay awake. Soon, there is nothing to be heard. You go outside again and pour cold water on several of your friends, but they just snore and mutter, and to be honest, that just sounds like a normal Saturday morning to me. If we're going with Esquire, the name is Hummel. Federico Hummel, the third Esquire? Or Hummel Vagabond, the third Esquire? Hummel oh, fuck's sake. Damn it, I had my there we are. Then you hear a rumble overhead, like thunder out of the clear sky. You look up. Streaking overhead is the unmistakable shape of a Carosian robojet. God, with all these... They love their exclamation marks in this, and it's kind of a giveaway that this is written for kids. Because I don't know the narrator way of saying that out loud. Streaking overhead is the unmistakable shape of a Carosian robojet in theaters this Tuesday. You realize what must have happened. Somehow the Carosians have managed to put everyone in Phalos to sleep. Everyone but you. For some reason, you are immune. Over the next few hours, you listen to the enemy communications and piece together the story. In the past, the Corrosians had steered clear of Thalos. With its brave warriors and its many robots, your land was too tough to attack. But Minos, their leader, hit upon a clever plan. His spies spread capsules of a virulent sleeping sickness, and before long, all of Thalos was asleep. Soon, you hear a broadcast from Minos himself, talking to these invading troops. And hang on. I do not accept that this is a legitimate use of an accent. And I'm not 100% sure if it is an accent. Let me bring this closer. Nope, that looks like a printed accent to me. I don't think that's a Triceratops. Well, if you pass your exams, maybe one day. An elite force of 1,000 warriors with hundreds of robots has invaded Thalos. But this is only the beginning. With the population helpless, Minos plans to loot your country. Its riches and its robots will be his. Its people will be sold as slaves, and only you can stop it. You know what you have to do. You walk back inside and buckle your father's old sword to your waist because it was too cheap to buy a gun. Food will be no problem. You know supplies will be easy to find. But you pick up a supply of 5 medkits. Then you head for the robot parking area. Nope, sorry, sounds goofy. We do have to defend Thalos. Must protect. Alone, you must defeat the Corrosian invaders and free your land. Also, isn't protect the Thalos like 60% of Western medicine? So there we go. 1. At the robot parking area, you stop and look around. There are several robots here, but only 2 seem suitable for long distance travel. You study them both. If you want to take a standard cowboy walking robot, which is not fast but sturdy and adaptable, turn to 24. If you would prefer a light flyer, which is very speedy and maneuverable but not really intended for combat, turn to 47. Take care of that hydrate. Thank you, Talia. Actually, while we're at it, it's a terrible habit, I know, and I'm trying to get out of it, but somehow didn't set the mic off. Interesting. So, bot hanger. Yeah, that'd be better. Except it's probably parked in the street, isn't it? Like, one might say those are cars, but they could just as easily be a speeder. I reckon we're gonna get into a fight, so I'm gonna turn to 24. It explodes, the end. This man-shaped robot is designed for dinosaur herding. It moves by walking. It has weapons for dealing with rogue dinosaurs, but they are not as powerful as those of a war robot. So, cowboy, because, you know, God help us if we think of new names for things. Speed medium. You can see what I'm writing as well, why not? Combat bonus. I'll just do plus 0 to remind myself that it is bonus. And special ability. They've gone from bonus to special abilities. When did that happen? Now we must choose a place to go. Turn to 70. And we're not changing our mind, so you've been noticing less drag sounds when we watch stuff, so you're in the right direction. That's good to know. So if anyone's going to be hearing that noise on a regular basis, I think it would be you. Yep, turn to 70. You'll miss the desire to eat cupcakes while sitting next to you, but it's probably for the best. It's not vanilla at the moment either, they ran out. It took me like a full 5 days extra to get that order in because they kept coming back and saying, yeah, we didn't have as much vanilla as we thought. Can we substitute it for something else? And so I ended up with a load of cola instead, which has a nice flavour to it, but a bit more of a nip, if that makes sense. Okay, now that I've declined calls from both my parents. Hopefully they will realise I'm up to something. I know they're calling for a reason, but I am occupied. Now what are you going to do? You know that although there are probably Corosians everywhere, their base is at the capital city. But you can't just charge in there and attack them with your little robot. You must prepare well before you make your move. Fortunately, there are many cities in Phalos. You will be able to search the whole country for help, if need be, before you confront the invaders. Not as if we're on a time limit or anything. 2 large cities are fairly close. If you want to go to the City of Knowledge, turn to 93. If you want to go to the City of Industry, turn to 209. Go for 93. You head for the City of Knowledge. It is your people's greatest centre of learning. There, you hope, you will find information that will help you defeat the invaders. After about an hour of travel, you sight a flying dinosaur ahead of you. It dives aggressively towards you. You must fight it. It's a pteranodon, a large predatory flying dinosaur. It's lightly built, but speedy and aggressive. So here we go, it's our first combat. And I will need 2 good hits on this boy, who has a higher skill level than me. Oh shit, oh god. Right, so for your pteranodon it is 13, and for me it is much more than that, so I do 2 damage to him. Pteranodon's down to 1 armor. And I need to look up the rules of escaping when it comes up as well. Okay, Pteranodon did much better this time. That's 11 plus, yes, that's 20. So I can only hope to draw, and I don't remember what happens in this circumstance. So no, that's my stamina that's gone down by 2. That won't get confusing. So 15 for the Pteranodon this time, and 18 for me. So, yep. Defeated it. Also, I don't know if I was meant to use the armor of the robot first. Let's look that up. Nice knowing you, Hummel. I shall start thinking of a name for your successor. So, hold on. It doesn't specifically say I'm fighting it in the robot, does it? But we must be, surely. We're not fighting a fucking dinosaur with our fists. What is this, dog soldiers? Roll both dice, one's for the foe, add a skill. Add +1 if the foe is faster than your robot. So yeah, that should have got a +1, but fuck it, I'm not doing the combat again. And so yeah, I should not have taken from my stamina, I should have taken it from my armor. But it's 2 again, isn't it? Yep, subtract 2. Because I'm not burning through what little luck I have on that. Okay, if you defeat or escape, turn to 186. There we go. Not long ago you passed a village. There might be something useful there. If you want to check, turn to 13. If you want to press up, let's check out the village. What's the worst that could happen? I could die. That's the worst that could happen. You enter the village and investigate. You find one useful robot, a digger robot. This slow but powerful machine rides on treads. It has a bulldozer blade on the front, a scoop shovel on the back, and 2 large claws for lifting. So, armor is higher, speed is lower, I believe. Yep. Clumsy to attack, -2. But if it succeeds, the foe takes 6 points of damage. No, I'm going to stick with what I've got. On to the City of Knowledge. Bollocks. You're in the City of Knowledge. If you have already been here, if not. Otherwise, keep reading. Here are all of Phalos' greatest universities and museums. So everyone has to move here to go to uni. Oh, that's a bugger. This is the home of those who most value learning. Who would have thought? Here, you hope, you will find something to help you in your lone struggle. You have a wide choice of possible destinations within the City of Knowledge. Where will you go? College of Medicine sounds good. War College is another good possibility. Dinosaurs Preserve is tempting for the lols, but I think we'll die, so... You know what? Because it seems like the dumbest and most useless option, we're going to the museum. You stay in your robot and travel to the huge Phalian Museum. This is the largest museum in all the land. It is full of exhibits on every imaginable subject. If you've been here before, but if not, keep reading. As you approach the museum, you keep a sharp watch but see no enemies. When you arrive, you park your robot in front of the building and walk up the steps, past a pair of carved stone dragons. The museum attendant is snoring, but the little information robot is alert. Can I help you? It asks. Because, you know, that's what robots would have sounded like in... Where's the date? 1986. Ah! This thing's as old as I am. So I think number 80 is the least likely to get our arses kicked, so we'll go with that. I'm sorry, replies the information robot. We have a general medical display in Hall Omicron, but for the kind of specific information you want, you will need to inquire at a hospital or at the College of Medicine. If you want to leave, or if you want to ask another question. Oh, hello Al. See you in a bit, Al. You would watch Night at the Museum with the only change being Mark Hamill in the lead. That'd be sick. Jedi Night at the Museum. Ah. But yes, the Talia Museum. And this causes Pikachu to... I'm not sure what they're doing there. What else will we ask? Okay, ramp it up. Ask about the Corosians. Oh, very good, the little robot responds. We have a wonderful exhibition on Corosian history and culture in Hall Epsilon. Want to go to the hall and study? We'll go to 124. Or if you'd rather ask for something up to date. Intensify? Yeah, intensify. So that Nightbot response is meant to respond to an emote, but clearly I have not set it up correctly. Oh, it's Pichu, my bad. So yeah, I'm just gonna ask about military information, see what happens. Well, it depends on information you need. Modern military information is classified, and you would have to ask at the War College. Historical military information is in Hall Beta. We have some wonderful exhibits. Yeah, let's have a look there. Hall Beta proves to be a long walk away, through great shadowed corridors. You soon realise that you are lost. Eventually you come to a curtained exhibit room. The sign over the door reads, Favours of Fortune. But inside you hear strange sounds, like something large moving around. If you enter, turn to 202. If you go on past, 168. Yeah, see, that's what's meant to happen. But apparently it just sees Pichu and decides to jump in with that message, which I'm not necessarily against, it's just not what I expected. Well, let's enter then. Go on. Maybe we are going to fist fight a dinosaur. To your relief, the sounds you heard were merely the snoring of a very fat man asleep in a chair. The room is dedicated to exhibits having to do with good and bad luck. You pause to look around. Then your eyes drawn to by a display case at the far end of the room. Must be important. There were 2 guards beside it. They are still there, fast asleep. The case contains a jeweled necklace, rather crudely made, but according to the sign on the case, it is a genuine, scientifically proven good luck charm. This looks as if it might be worth borrowing. You open the case and take the luck amulet. Somewhere you hear an alarm go off, so you hurry away. but the charm is real. So increase our luck by 1, and it's our initial luck as well. Sorry, I realised I don't quite have enough space for the pen and paper and both pages of the book all in shot. Oh, thank you very much for that quote. Happy with that one. And I suppose we should write down that we've got a genuine ass luck charm as well. All beta. On we go. Here we fucking go, etc. You continue on your way towards Hull. We've seen this picture before. Cheap. And probably that one as well. You continue on your way towards Hall Beta and the military exhibition. When you arrive, it proves to be ancient history. The strange sounds from the building are making you nervous, and you have no desire to read about catapults and other ancient devices. You head back to the main desk. Yeah, scientific and charm, not often heard together. So just ask again. Go with 58 again, because one of these led to more information. Hull Epsilon, yes. So we're going to read about Corosian history, which will definitely be useful. See, there it is again. Yeah, hang on a second. What, Nick? You make your way to Hall Epsilon. Some of us scientists can be charming. The trip is a lot. That was mean. I apologize. The trip is a long one, and several times you hear odd, echoing sounds. Thank you very much for the what. So that's weird. I can do the what, but I can't roll my R's for any reasonable length of time. I just go roll. So if I'm rolling them, that's as far as it goes. If I try and do it for anything longer, like I was going for real magic, but there's a bit more of a roll to it. Anyway, you realise that you are not alone in the building. You press on and find the exhibition on the history of the Corosians. Studying it briefly, you can see it has nothing to do with their military abilities. It's all about their culture and customs. It will take an hour to study the material. If you want to do so, turn to 180. Well, knowledge is power. Just as you're about ready to give up, you stumble across an interesting book on the dueling customs of the Corosians. Apparently, the ancient Corosians would settle a tribal dispute by choosing champions, one from each tribe, instead of allowing a battle between the whole tribes. The reference number of the book is 111, and I imagine a couple of you have already guessed why we're writing that down. Because it told us to. But why it's telling us to. It's all about the tongue technique. Clearly, I don't have that. Which is a shame. Oh. Speaking of a shame, that seems to be a little stain. You leave the military display. I will just point out here that our country's been invaded. We're the only one awake, facing off against the entire invading army, and all we've done so far is fuck about in a museum and kick fuck at a pterodactyl. Pterodon? Something like that. Yes. You leave the military display and take a shortcut through a hallway overlooking a huge gallery. As you look down, you're surprised to see devastation. A huge area of exhibits has been demolished. 2 black-clad Corosian soldiers are lying there, dead or wounded, and a trail of devastation leads right through a huge hole in the wall. You hear shouts from below. If you would like to go down and investigate, turn to 374. If you would rather avoid the area and head back to the information desk, go to 14. Done. We're gonna head down. What's the worst that could happen? We're gonna die. I've seen that one as well. See, pointing with middle finger. Find a stairway and head down. You find that both the Corrosians are dead. One was about your size. You quickly strip off his uniform, hitman style, and put it on yourself. This may come in handy later. You check the signs. The demolished exhibit was labelled Tyrannosaurus. Shouts from outside are coming closer, so you duck out of a convenient door and return to the front desk. Back to that bloody robot again. No, we'll leave the museum, so 102. If you possess an amulet, it turn immediately to 250. I think we possess an amulet. Oh, welcome back, Al. How's it going? We've been fucking about in a museum. You wave to the robot and start to leave, but as you do, alarms go off and lights flash. I'm very sorry, says the robot, but museum property has been removed without authorization. You cannot leave. Well, Al's redeemed go full Glasgow. But museum property has been removed without authorization. You can't leave. Its metal arms reach out towards you. Roll 2 dice. If the number you roll is less or equal to your skill, go to 272. So I have to roll less than 8 on 2 dice. Fuck's sake. Fuck. Fucking. Less than or equal to. Yes! Just made it. Fucking yes. Nothing if not disruptive. Oh, it's perfectly welcome. I wouldn't have that redeem in there otherwise. You dodge underneath the mechanical arms with which it is trying to stop you, and through the door. You quickly climb into the control seat of your robot. Turn to 396. I don't know if Glaswegian people actually say robot instead of robot, but I decided to say a robot because it amuses me. Right, you're now leaving the Fallion Museum. Where would you like to go now? May do a nap since cozy and it's story time. If I do, I'm quiet. Oh, no need to be sorry about that. It is God knows o'clock in the morning for you. And for at least 2 other folk in the chat as well, which I deeply appreciate. So, College of War. Dinosaur Preserve. Dinosaur Preserve is going to get us killed. No doubt about it. So, yeah, let's go College of War. What was that again? 277. Aye. College of War is easy to find. It is a huge 5-sided building built all of brick. If you have been here before, nope. If you have not been here before, keep reading. A robot of unfamiliar design is standing in front of the building. You recognize it as a Corrosian military robot. If you don't recognize the design, but you know. Zenitoto, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. There it is. Came up in my activity feed well before it came up on the screen for what I'm sure are very good reasons. What will you do? Attack immediately, try to pass as one of the invaders, leave before... We're going to try and bluff. I'll try diplomacy. If you're wearing an enemy uniform, turn to 177. We are, because we stole it off a deed man. Your trick is successful. The enemy pilot sees your uniform and lets you go without asking for the password. He ignores you as you pass him peacefully. 65... Oh, music's ramping up now. Oh, look at that bad boy. Again, a bit fallacy, but it's clearly that kind of design of I turn into a jet, you know? So just water myself. And whilst I'm at it, you know, I swear the colour balance was better when I set this up last night. Oh well. Great graphics, super realistic. Like these ones right here. I know, right? My phone is telling me all the things. Calm down. You park your robot beside the door and enter the College of War. You are alert for other Corrosians, but apparently the sentry outside was the only one. The halls and rooms are littered with beribboned generals. They have ribbons on? Is that what that word means? I am not sure. Fast asleep. Following the signs, you head for the library to see what you can learn. But just as you get there, you hear a roaring sound from outside. Looking out of the window, you see 3 sleek fighter planes hurtle down, sprout legs, and turn into robots like the sentry outside. The Corrosians are arriving in force. You quickly look around the room. There are several volumes on the counter, as though someone was trying to check them out just before the sleeping sickness hit. The books are too large to carry, and you only have time to look at one. Which title will we choose? City of Guardians, Emergency Procedures, Corrosian Military Robots. You know, I have read this one before. I'm going to go with City of Guardians. The book gives you the location of the City of Guardians. The secret base is the headquarters of the Army of Thalos. The map reference is 22. Make a note for it. Make a note of this number, substitute it for 22, and you are given the option to visit the City of Guardians. City of Guardians 22. You may find another use for the map reference as well. For now, of course, you must deal with the Corrosians outside the building you are in. 368. You realise you must leave quickly. Looking outside, you can see that the Corrosians have entered the building. The fools have left their robots outside and unguarded, parked near yours. You spring out of the window and run for them. If you get back into your own robot, turn to 3 to 2. If you get in a Corrosian robot instead, well, we've got to try that one out. Even though I'm pretty sure it'll bite us in the teeth. Which is a feat in itself. Laughing, you scramble into an enemy combat robot, just giggling the whole way. You need to see it from inside the building, looking out the window, see the robot, get the idea. Leap out the window, run straight towards it. It's probably going to be giggling for like an hour afterwards, just straight. Oh boy, this is a lot to copy down. Right. Let's cross that one out. Myrmidon. Yeah, okay. So, trying to write whilst looking there as opposed to down here, that doesn't work. I know this now. That's a human form, so we'll do that first. Spud Med, and we'll go with CB, that makes more sense. +1, and it can change from human to plane. So it's off the page, I realise, but you know, you get the idea. Spud very fast. V-fast. And CB is still +1. And hopefully that's enough for me not to write down everything going on there. I'll remember that I can switch between the two. The Myrmidon takes one combat turn to change forms. During that turn, the robot makes its normal combat roll, but if it wins, it does no damage to the foe, it just defends itself. If you're not in combat, the robot can change shapes freely with no penalty of any kind, except that if the robot is in humanoid shape and has 2 or less armor points, it will fall apart if it changes into a plane. I'm sure one of you will remind me of that if it comes up. The controls are unfamiliar. If you've read the manual, turn to 322. If not, turn to 3. I assume this is just going to give us a penalty, because otherwise, why would it give us the stats first? Back one. Because you are not familiar with this type of robot, you do not get the normal combat bonus with it. In fact, your skill is 1 less than usual while you use it. You realise you'd better get out of there while you can. And so on to 147 we go. Minus 1 skill until I read the fucking instructions. And yeah, College of Medicine, that sounds good. Although I don't quite mind going to the dinosaur preserve now that I've got this big bastard robot. Speaking of big bastard robot, check this out. And why is that? Why? Anyway, you're at the College of Medicine. This is both the greatest hospital and the greatest medical laboratory of your entire nation. Simply tremendous. None more big. Look at my tiny hands. Trump reference. You approach cautiously, but see no sign of the Corosian invaders. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription, Zenatorto. Not Grimlock robot. No. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. Where was it? Oh, Christ. You approach cautiously, but see no sign of the Corosian invaders. You leave your robot near the front steps and enter the building. Sorry, the subscription thing there was covering the text. If you've been here before, nope. If you seek treatment for your own injuries, 77. If you look for information on sleeping sickness, turn to 126. Well, as far as I know, well, our robot got a bit beat up, but apart from that, we don't even have that robot anymore. You follow the signs of the medical library. There, amid huge, dusty stacks of books, you begin your search. Finally, in an old textbook, you find a clue to help you. It describes a medicine that, so it says, will instantly cure all types of sleeping sickness. If you will try to compound this medication, turn to 104. If you'd rather leave, of course we're going to compound the medication. Compound? I'm not sure what it is in this context. Wow. Oh, this is probably the half the ink budget for the book right here. Looking at a hospital map, you see that the research lab is not far away. Carrying the book with you, you set off to find it, and soon arrive at a large chemical laboratory. As you walked, you heard strange squeaks and shuffling noises in the hallway, but saw nothing. You are somewhat disturbed to note that there are no sleeping doctors or researchers here. No one is here at all. You barred the lab doors for safety and set to work. Fortunately, the instructions are clear and the lab is well stocked. Eventually, you have a 1 litre flask of blue potion, all you can make with the materials at hand. Indeed, from the rarity of the materials you used, you doubt that another litre could be made in the whole of Phalos. But you also know from the book that 1 litre would be enough for everyone in Phalos. Nevertheless, there is a problem. The potion is so volatile that once opened, it will quickly evaporate. You cannot awaken people one at a time. You must find a way to treat your whole nation at once. So, your quest is not over. Outside you hear the strange squeaking once again. If you leave immediately, turn to 394. If you remain in the laboratory, checking your work one last time, 372. It doesn't say investigate the thing, it says check our work one last time. Which is very sneaky. If we're just incurious, then we would knock the microphone with our hand. We would just say, you know, do you want to investigate the noise? And yes or no. But if it says check your work one last time, it implies there's something wrong with it. Alright, I'll bite. I'll check my work one last time. You read through the book one last time and discovering an alarming footnote. One of the ingredients you used was essence of mantrap flower, but according to the footnote, this essence loses its power over time. It may be that the material you used was weak or even totally worthless. The only way to be absolutely certain of success would either to find some brand new essence or to acquire a fresh mantrap flower and add it to the flask of potion. But you have no idea where to look for fresh essence, and the flower itself only grows in the deepest jungle. You pack the fragile bottle of blue potion carefully and set out for your robot. Well, I think I know where we're going. Noises in chemistry lab's bed. Dwelling bed. Hello between the borders. How do you do? Alright, quick vocal break here. That is a quick break from making noises. This is probably taxing my throat as well. Look at me, rushing my work and getting bad ingredients. Fucking amateur hour over here. Whole country's invaded. The whole country's asleep apart from you. Do you think this is a motherfucking game? So, 302. As you leave the research labs, you hear once again the strange shuffling and squeaking. You step through a pair of double doors into a room full of large wire cages. You see that some are opened. Then you realise what the sounds were. The hospital's experimental animals have escaped, and they are hungry. You are facing a trio of red-eyed lizards. If you fight the creatures, turn to 328. If you turn to flee, 350. Steve Jackson, you think it's a game? Yeah, I mean, it does say Adventure Game Books right there on the front, doesn't it? And Steve Jackson, now that you mention it. Again, having flee as a separate option when you can already escape from combat, in theory, feels like a trap. I'm gonna go for the combat, even though it's a dumb idea, and I have to kill 2 of them before I can even think about escaping. This may be it. We shall see. But okay, first Giganto Lizard. That is 6 plus 7, which is 13. Now for moi is 4 plus 8, 12. So yeah, I lose 2 stamina. Second lizard. Team Dumb Ideas, go! 7 plus 6, 13. And I get 4, 5, 13. I don't actually know what happens in draws. I would assume nothing, but let's double check. Skill, combat, okay. Okay. Oh, that's robot combat, what am I doing? Individual combat. Okay. If your attack strength is higher than that of your foe is wounded it. If higher than yours, if both you've avoided each other's blows. Yeah, so it's a non-combat. So third giant lizard is a beefy boy. So we'll see how this goes. 4 plus 7, that's 11. And me. Holy fuck. 18. I should maybe have just done boxes. But that would have made more sense if I had a pencil and eraser. Which I don't have nearby. Yeah, we could be looking at an F. Okay, back to the first lizard. 15. And not 15. Okay, second lizard with lower skull, for fuck's sake. Counts. 18. There we go. So, G lizard. 1, 2, 3. You can actually start writing down the stamina now. 4, 6, 5, and it just went down to, oh no, hold on. That was the second lizard, wasn't it? Yeah, so 2 of them are on 4 and 1's on 5. Speaking of the one on 5, that's a bad sign for me. But 16 versus 18, so I actually do damage. Okay, back to the first lizard. Oh, fucking Christ. At best, I could have drawn there, so... No, 14, no. Second lizard. So that's 8 plus 6, 14. And it's 14, so yeah, that one's a wash. Third lizard. 16. And not 16, so... Ow, my face. Back to lizard 1. 16 and... Ooh. Yep. I think I've done it. I just suddenly forgot how to maths. Yep, 17. And that was 2, so... 4, 2 and 3 are the staminas at the moment. Where's this music from? Seems very familiar, even kind of battle-techy from the Crescent Hawk era. Well, I would hope so, considering this is the cover of the book that we're on just now. It is June 2 on the PC, Adlib. Thought desert fighting, potentially monsters. I thought it fit. So that was 2, so third giant lizard. 5 plus 8 is 12. Yes, there we go. So 4, 2 and 1 is the stamina we're dealing with. Back to first lizard. Oh, that's bad luck on my part. Yep, I take damage. Pretty much whatever that landed on. And now we're on to the June 2000 soundtrack, because the other one ended. Had a vague thought about June 1, never played 2, it's nice. I did like it as well. I'm more used to hearing the Mega Drive version, honestly. I'll just adjust my headphones volume. There we go. So that was the first one. Number 2. 5 and 6, 11. Come on. There we go. So that is 1 giant lizard down. Lizard the third. 14. And 16. Hell yeah, that's 2 lizards down. Question is, do I keep on fighting? Because I have double the stamina and more skill. I'm going to keep fighting. First lizard, what you got? Quite good, actually. Yeah, just did damage to her. I may come to regret this decision. Nope. That's my first blow on this lizard, actually. 7, 7, 14. Yep, did damage to me again. 8 plus 7, 14. Yeah, actually that's 6 plus 8. Yeah. Whew. Did it. Defeated all 3. Fucking somehow. You don't even get a game over text for this. It was just, if you fail it, then fuck you, get a book. And that's apparently what a Corrosian warrior looks like, I guess. Oh, hi Pandora. Hello. Lovely to see you in. How's it going? We just kicked fuck out of 3 giant lizards. And even better than that, I think they were science experiments. It was mixed on version differences, like the MT32 is objectively better, but who grew up with the original Pro Sound Blasters, and I actually prefer them to, say, DOSBox emulation. Weirdly, I can sympathise there. So I'm just going to get more water in. I have a similar problem with the Sega Master System, because there's a bunch of those games that have FM sound. Now, I don't think I was ever going to hear it aside from emulation, because of that module for the Sega Master System, or for the what was it over in Japan? It's either that the Master System was based on the SG-3000, or it was the SG-3000 in Japan and the Master System over here, or something like that. But I can't remember off the top of my head. And yeah, the FM sound is a better synth, it's less bleepy bloopy, but I honestly prefer the sound of the old PCM, I think it's called. Since some new people may have come in, the story is that everyone in our country has fallen asleep. Sega Mark III, that's the one. I knew the number 3 was in there somewhere, but somehow my head went SG-3000, so thank you for that. There we go, we've got that cleared up. So what's going on here is our country's been invaded because our dastardly enemies have infected the entire nation with a sleeping sickness, and we're the only survivor, so it's us versus the whole ass army. Dune and Rise of the Dragon had Genesis releases, but everyone has their favourite versions. Mark III was the third iteration of the SG-1000, so SG-3000 not far off. That must have been where, you know, the crossed wires in my brain, you know, like some of the bits flowing down one wire just jumped to the other like it's quantum physics. Oh yeah, if we search through this lab, there's a chance we might die. Just saying. Just saying. Happens to you all the time. I'm glad to hear I'm not alone, although I wish it didn't happen to either of us. It sounds awfully inconvenient. You know? Oh, fuck it, let's keep searching. Fuck! This is a fatal error. Minutes later, you are trapped in a dead-end corridor by dozens of hunger-maddened laboratory animals, many of which are mutations. A most embarrassing end for our hero. Fucking... Yeah, so... these books do come with the bullshit insta-deaths. And it also might be why I have this sound effect on hand. And by this sound effect I mean wait a second. Oh, that was way too loud. I do apologise. Yeah, I need to tweak that one a little bit. Now, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it was page 254 we were on. So do we retcon it and keep going? What indeed. Thank you very much, Pandora. I do love that clip. Do we retcon this, or do we start all over again? I'm probably going to take a wee break either way, because it has been an hour and a half. But yes, what? Your family has issues with spoonerisms. Funny to laugh about now, but your dad was a judge. $6 and 1,000 months in jail. Your Honour? Is it still a spoonerism if it's more than the first syllable of each word? You know, instead of... Right, so the classic spoonerism example that I know of is instead of 3 cheers for our dear old Queen, it gets mixed up to 3 cheers for our queer old Dean. So is it still spoonerism if it's entire words that gets swapped around? Not technically. I have somewhat trained myself to accept things that are out with the rules. I used to be somewhat of a spelling and grammar Nazi. To the point where I was, despairing for humanity. This is when I was much younger and dumber, of course. When Tesco started adding misspellings of common items into their search, because the online grocery shopping was just becoming a thing. It was just like, oh, it's a decline in standards. Why can't these people learn to spell? Completely ignoring the fact that, dyslexic people exist. I was friends with dyslexic people at the bloody time, and somehow this thought didn't enter my head to the point where I punched the pop filter arm and made everything shake. So yeah, I've been training myself out of that one. People misuse and misunderstand terms so often. I have to agree with you there. And there's one in particular which I sometimes fear is going to get me kicked out of the country, which is juice. Because not only do we pronounce it as if it's spelled J-O-O-S-E, but we use it for just about anything you can drink up here. Yeah, I'm doing this, Pandora. It's happening. I've got... everything is just of something. It's not... What's water then? Well, to be fair, nobody calls water juice. And to be fair, the example I was going to bring up is like, everything's juice up here. Apple juice, juice. Orange juice, juice. Cola, juice. Squash, juice. But even cola has got vegetable extracts in it, so technically correct, but I know I've said, as you said, we've all been ignorant of a few things. You gotta do better when you know better. I'm dying on this hill. It's happening. Everything is just... I look forward to many years of this argument, Pandora. Search engines, they need to stop autocorrecting my inputs. I want that part number, not some random word it looks like. Yeah. Juice is mostly sugar. Soda is mostly sugar. God damn it, between the borders. Love you too, Pandora. Miss your face. But this is as good as it gets given the... That was my gestures broadly with the limited space this camera allows. Let's not allow this fundamental difference to tear us apart. No. Just, something we rib each other for on occasion. I think that was a wink. I might have closed both eyes though. Anyway, we have not answered the fundamental question. And I think you're meant to clap between syllables or words instead of syllables. And the fundamental question is, do we retcon what just happened? Because, well, find out first if we can retcon it. Like, did I have the right number? Yes, I did have the right number. Icky needs to get a cat. Icky needs to become a hell of a lot more responsible to be able to take care of a cat. Because there's a plant in that corner there, which is... it's not on its last legs, but it's looking a hell of a lot less healthy than it did when I got it. So, I need to sort that at some point. I would maybe not mind a visit from Pouncer though. I don't know, it's kind of hard because most of the times I go and see my parents, it's with the whole extended family, and by extended family I mean including my brother and my sister-in-law. And if they're both coming, they have to bring the puppy with them, the Nif pup, and that means Pouncer's gonna fuck off to a bedroom forever. I'm hearing a lot of call for ignoring bullshit deaths. But didn't you read it? A fatal error, a most embarrassing end for a hero. How could I have not seen it coming? Yeah, let's ignore it. 210. Decide to leave the College of Medicine. You climb back into your trusty robot. Where will you go now? Well, cats won't let you forget. Well, that's a fair point. Plants will not remind you to feed them. No, Teddy would not let you forget. But Teddy is a good and deserves. How's he getting on anyway? Has there been any progress on his nakedness? You'll move to Scotland and somehow we'll share a cat between us. Just have it a cat that goes outside. As soon as it sniffs out where you live, it'll just go back and forth. He continues to balden. Oh, nuts. But otherwise fine. But it's less nuts. Had another checkup recently. Oh yeah, so I shall be sure to keep an eye out for any fundraising efforts that are necessary for that, because Teddy has great value to me, despite the fact I don't think I've ever met him. But he is of value to a dear friend of mine, and therefore he has great value. If your mother's constant reminders mean anything, parents usually accept offers to visit them more often. That is true. I could find other excuses to go see my parents. Need to remedy that. We do. God knows when or how, but yes, I approve of this. You would love him and he would love you. Well, see, here's the problem I have with the Neff pup at the moment. He is literally a puppy. He's not even a year old. And trying to get anywhere near him to pet him, unless he's pretty much about to go to sleep, is like trying to fist fight a tornado. It's just impossible. Like, I do not have the hand dexterity to make that happen. And maybe I shouldn't wave my hands in front of the bottom camera, because it could be a bit flashier than is needed. Would I be willing to dog sit at some point? It could do that. That's possible. I mean, bear in mind I am going to have to come across the whole ass country. But it is not out with realms of possibility. I'm not saying no. And considering I survived an hour and a half with the Neff pup in full happy tornado mode, like not stopping for a goddamn second, I'm sure I could cope. But it's a nice thought, yeah. Hello, Captain Hardship, how do you do? Welcome in. So, for those of you who came in late and didn't know the story, our country's just been attacked with a plague of sleeping sickness. Everyone else in the country's been sent to sleep, and we're the only ones alive, and we're fighting off the entire invasion by ourselves. We have found a cure for the sleeping sickness, but we will somehow have to give it to literally the whole ass nation at once, because otherwise it'll just evaporate completely and be useless. Just if I ever fancy having a wee pal for a bit, that does sound nice. And he looks like a good boy, a good pup. Or not a pup anymore, but as with all your dogs, he's small. And oh yeah, we fucked around in a museum for a while and we kicked fuck at a pteranodon. And 3 giant lizards, from which we barely escaped. You've got a plague of sleeping sickness because it's, what? You've been up for an hour and a half and now it's 7 in the morning, something like that? He's small. I forgot I'd set that up. I like that Nightbot reply. Okay. So did anything else happen? Oh yeah, we've got a sword for some reason. We started off with that. Tell you what, let's have a look at how medkits work, because those giant lizards, they did a number on me. Where is the thing that tells me how far to use medkits? 5 medkits. Each medkit can be used to restore 1 lost point of stamina. So what, I'm just going to get 5 stamina back, is that it? May not be used during a battle, only afterwards. And it never goes above initial value. Yep, that makes sense. So cross off all those medkits and go to 11 stamina. Yep, so recurring because you're cozy and voice of best friend is soothing. Well, okay, I will use the soothing voice. But in making that blue potion that I was talking about, the one that cures the sleeping sickness, we found out that one of the ingredients is far more potent and less likely to fail if it's fresh. And if it's going to grow, it apparently grows in a jungle environment. And I think there's a jungle environment nearby that we should go to. Now that we've got a robot that can, you know, actually defend itself. And it's that robot, as a matter of fact. That was the paragraph we went to when we went to the College of War, and on the way out of there, we stole one of the enemy robots, and that's what it looks like. You're at the entrance to the dinosaur preserve, where some of the wildest and most vicious creatures of Phalos are kept for study. We've not been here before, skip that part. A rocket heat, that is a charitable reading on that, to be frank. Also, one rock. Oh, tell a lie. The parent rock and free children rocks. An electro fence keeps the creatures from rampaging out. On your side of the fence is cool green grass. On the other side is rank jungle. Wow. Get wrecked, jungle. You're fucking rank. Also on your side of the fence are two buildings. The administrative building and a huge unmarked barn-like structure. What will you do? Why do I get the feeling that staying your robot and cross the electro fence is going to cause severe damage? Wait. This big ass robot we have has both human and plane modes. So with a bit of luck, we'll turn to that page. It'll ask us if we can fly. And we won't damage anything. 129. If you fly over the jungle of the preserve, go to 252. Note that with some robots you have a choice between flying or walking. That's what I was thinking. And watch as we immediately die as we get fucking blown out of the air or something. You soar over the jungle of the dinosaur preserve, but see nothing of interest. You don't know what you expected to find out here anyway. You decide to leave. God damn it. I need to get back to that jungle as soon as possible. Because there might be a plant I need. Unfortunately, it's a man-eating plant, so I need to be very fucking careful about it. So I'm just going to go to the Phalian Museum. If we've been here before, go to 160. So you approach the museum, you see smoke rising from in front of the building. A confused babble of Corosian voices comes over the radio. If you continue, 184. Nope. Already snuck in there once. We're not going to get away with that again. Dinosaur Preserve, 66. Surface to air trees launch their pinecone missiles. A fatal error. If you've been here already, 189. Technically, yes. See what happens. It's probably going to screw us, isn't it? Everything seems to be as you left it. The Corosians have no interest in this area and no desire to get any closer to the monsters than they have to. What will you do? Leave the robot and go into the administrative building. So the dinosaurs wouldn't go into the administrative building, right? We all saw that in the documentary Jurassic Park. They never got into the science bits. You are inside the administrative building. Everyone is asleep, of course. You see nothing of special interest. What will you do now? Look for a specific object, search the whole office thoroughly, investigate the other building, get in your robot and cross the fence, leave the dinosaur preserve. We probably need to go in there at some point, but tell you what, look for a specific object. If you know what you might find in this building, add 50 to its model number and turn to that paragraph. You know what? I think it would be cheating if I tried this. Because I'm thinking 22 for the City of Guardians. So, see what 77 says? I doubt it'll be related. College of Medicine? No. But I've also got 111, which I Should have written down the origin of, but no, I've just got 111 written on a page. So add 50 to that, 161. Robot search? No. I've got nothing. So I should have picked up a clue from elsewhere if I was going to do that, but I have not. Search the whole office thoroughly and get fucking killed, why don't I? In trying to open an office marked private, you activate a security system. An electric shock pins you to the doorframe. By the time you get free, you've lost 1 stamina point. Balls. Investigate the other building sounds like a good way to get killed. I'm gonna go into the preserve in my robot, but I'm going to walk about this time. So I'm gonna find that goddamn plant. Oh, now I'm fighting robots. Jesus Christ. Not robots, dinosaurs. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do there. I'm going to bite my fucking tongue, apparently. Going to take a quick break there, rest my voice a little, get some more waters. And I'll be back in a little bit. I shall leave the music on. You might see an advert, you might not. But if it's during a pause period, it doesn't matter so much anyway. So I'll see you in a bit. And let's get back to it, shall we? Robots versus dinosaurs. I mean, it's right there on the cover. Hello, fun. Planes with inverse swept wings and a choose your own, adventure games book. Trademarks, you see. This is the most late 80s and early 90s thing to ever late 80s, early 90s. Like time capsule quality. I know it's a sort of a weird quirk from like maybe 70s, 80s of post-apocalyptic, but we just chuck whatever we want in it. I think it's Thundar the Barbarian that's, you know, like Conan the Barbarian type, just waltzing around post-apocalyptic landscape with, you know, like burnt out cars in the background. But yeah, that's the idea that it seems to go with. Desert planet with robots and dinosaurs. Because it's just fucking rad. Yeah, I came back at the same time you did. Timing! Yeah, these brains, they are the same brains. So, looks like this is what we're going to be dealing with. This Transformers knockoff. The Transformers were around in 86, right? That sounds correct. You cross the electro fence into the dinosaur preserve itself. Small lizards scurry about as your robot passes. For several minutes you explore, finding nothing of interest. Then you hear a coughing, trumpeting sound. Charging towards you are two huge horned triceratops. Underneath the jungle canopy, shape-changing robots cannot change to flying form. Flying form! Cannot change into flying form. You will have to fight these foes on the ground. Fight them both at once. Each dinosaur will have a separate attack on you in each attack round, but you must choose which one you will fight. Attack your chosen foe each round as in a normal battle. Against the other you must throw your attack strength in the normal way, but even if your attack strength is greater you will not wound it. So yeah, do separate rounds for these both, but I have to choose which one I'm actually attacking. So say I pick the first Triceratops as the one I'm attacking. If I win that combat, I'll do damage to him. But then I have to do a round against the second Triceratops, and if I win that one, nothing happens. I just escape damage. However, if it's attack straight, it will. But yeah, they can both damage me. If I escape, 270. If I defeat, if my robot is destroyed, 310. Alright then. Now, in human form, I'm at medium speed and so are they, so no bonus change there. However, they do have an advantage of skill on me because I didn't read the manual for this enemy robot, so -1 skill to me, and that puts me down to 7. Yeah, Western game manufacturers either licensing or stealing Japanese mecha. So 80s. Yeah, it's pretty mecha, isn't it? This basically could be a scene out of Power Rangers or Super Sentai, as it would have been. Samban. Okay, so I'm very tempted to try and escape this one. Let me just double check how the robot combat rules work. +1 for defense, your foe's attack strength, rolls one of your robots faster, if your attack strength is higher than that of a foe, you wounded it. You know what? I don't think there's technically anything to say that I couldn't be in flying form. I was just happened to be plodding around the forest in that form, and that would put me faster and put my skill back up. Kind of rules of lawyering, but I'm just going to go with that. We're in flying form, we're just walking. Okay, I've been inflicted with the sleepiest, so time for me to good night and to kind life. That's not my sign-off, Talia. That's gimmick infringement, that is. But you have the redeemed hydrate. Plus posture check and stretch. So I will do that, thank you. Oh, and I hope you have good sleep. And in case anybody is wondering about, you know, Talia's possible influence on me, put her Pichu emote into the chat and see what happens. I unfortunately don't have it because I didn't have the money to sub to anybody, and I can't very well just nip off of this stream into hers and redeem the unlock a emote thing right now, can I? I'm on 2 cameras, I'm not going to get away with that. There it is. It's what should always happen when a Pichu emote comes up. Or it should just happen at random, that's another possibility. Okay, so I'm just saying that we're in flying form. They are indeed, Pandora, you are correct. So... okay, so one of them's got armor 9 and the other armor 10, but the lesser armored one has higher skill. So, tricep. 1, 2, and armor 9. 10. Oh, I do like the frog. I do like the Kermit. He's good emote. You know, I should maybe consider getting people to do emotes for me, but the problem is I've already done all my ideas, and I think they worked perfectly well as pixel art that I put together in an hour. Anyway, we've got Triceratops to batter. So this is yeah, I'm gonna batter Triceratops 1. It's a higher skill, but actually no, I'm gonna attack Triceratops 2 because I do 2 damage each time, therefore armor 9, armor 10, it's going to take the same number of hits to beat either of them. So first Triceratops, and this will be a round that does not have me doing any damage. So 15 versus +1 combat bonus, -1. Actually, let me double check that. Does combat bonus affect to hit or to damage? Add any combat bonus for the... yep, it's to hit. So, yep, I've done him a damage. Oh, no, nothing happens because this is the first Triceratops, so I'm not attacking him. I'm just fending off his blows. That's 5 plus 8, 13. And that is more than 13, I'm guessing. 12, yeah, 15. Okay, so I'm going to continue attacking the second one. So here's the one I'll do a damage to. Combat with first Triceratops. That's what I like to see. So he got 3 plus 9, 12. I got 5, 9 plus 8. That's more. And no damage because he's not the one I'm attacking. Second Triceratops. Fucking fudges it. It was 4 I rolled the first time, right? Yeah. Won that one as well. Back to the first Triceratops. Yep. And nothing happens because it's the first Triceratops. I've just realised I can just roll the dice twice, and if I roll higher than him, it all works out. So I'm kicking fuck at this Triceratops so far. This is going well. He says right before he rolls an 11 for Triceratops 1. So, yep, that is me losing the armor. Do I technically... I don't think they thought this through, because technically if I switch back into human form, I will suddenly get all my armor back. Or is that just meant to be my maximum armor? Triceratops hairdo. It fucking did. Okay, so now on to fighting second side Triceratops. You're kicking fuck out of me, oh really? Have an 11, you cunt. Oh dear. Okay, 6, that's what I like to see. Fortunately that's equal. And I've had this before and I've forgotten the ruling. Yep. It's nothing happens there. So back to 1. I'm still attacking the second one, so 7, 6. Yeah, I take damage for that one. Triceratops 2. Yay! Triceratops 1. Yay! And nothing happens because I'm not attacking that one. 6. More! So Triceratops 2 is down. Sorry, Sarah. And I'll start attacking Triceratops 1 and hopefully he will not put my balls right back up me. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes it. Anyway. 4 and I need 2 more than that. Yep. Another round. Another round, another destiny. This never-ending road to jungle. Oh no. Nope, that is me damage. And that can only happen twice more. Oh no, 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 no. This is going badly. It's me damage again. Yeah, I'm not risking it. I'm going to look up what the escape rules are. Yeah. Given the option of running away from a battle, should things go badly for you. However, if you do run away, the foe gets to subtract 1 wound to your stamina bonus. Such as the price of cowardice. You can escape this wound with luck the normal way. You can only escape if that option is given to you, and if your robot is faster than your foe, which mine is. I need to win 3 more rounds to beat him. But to escape and not take damage and blow up and die, I need to do luck. And I have to roll less than 9 on 2d6. You need to go make dinner, so be lucky for a wee bit, but listen on my wireless headphones. I think we're going to reach a conclusion to this particular run quite quickly, but I do have something planned for afterwards, which will be equally listenable, I hope. So I'm going to escape, and I'm going to roll my luck. I need less than 9. That is less than 9. So, I escape. Shaken up, lose 1 stamina point. Yeah, fair. Because of the narrow jungle trails, your robot takes free tap. Fuck. This is enough to bring its armor to 0. Turn to 310. So we've ended up on page 310 anyway. Trapped in the dinosaur preserve without a robot to carry you, you have little hope. Test your luck twice in succession. And I already lost 1 luck because every time you test it, it goes down until your luck runs out. Less than 8. Yes. Less than 7. Yes. Oh shit. Jammy bastard is the term that springs to mind. Torn and bleeding after several encounters with the dinosaurs, you stagger out of the dinosaur preserve. Lose 3 stamina points, so that puts me doing 6. So if you have medkits, you can cure each one as it is lost. If you've already investigated the unmarked building, 364. If you have not investigated that building, turn to 383. Rather interesting luck mechanic. Yeah, it's designed so that you will eventually just run out entirely. So I've not investigated 383. You wander around for hours, but the administration building is useless, and the other building is tightly locked, and you cannot enter it. You must leave the dinosaur preserve and see what you can find. Unfortunately, the dinosaur preserve is far away from the rest of the City of Knowledge. After an hour of walking, the best you've been able to find is a battered old farm robot. That reminds me, I do need to cross off my enemy combat robot. And that leaves me with farm robot. Farm 7, bed med, knee combat bonus, knee special abilities, but it is better than nothing, so I take it. 2150. I don't know if there's an easier way to get that damn plant or not, but maybe I'll just leave the City of Knowledge and just see what happens. City of the Jungle. Was I in the wrong fucking place this whole time? Swear to God. Oh, nice. This is the June 2000 soundtrack we're on just now. We're on to a callback to the June 2 soundtrack. You're in the City of the Jungle. This is a relatively small city, a home for explorers, gatherers of valuable plants, and lovers of the wilderness. Wild dinosaurs often walk the very streets of the City of the Jungle. What will you do? Have a look in the city. Just a wee peek won't kill us, right? You decide to explore the city. If you explore the northern portion, turn to 16. If it's the south, 225. Oh, motherfucker. You turn north through the deserted city. You see few people lying in the streets here. Thinking of the jungle so close by, you shudder. You fear you know what has happened to the people here. Then, rounding the corner, you see that you were right. A Nothosaurus is coming towards you, long tongue flickering. This dinosaur walks on all four or swims in shallow swamps. It is both a predator and a scavenger. If you flee immediately, turn to 331. Otherwise, fight the creature. Almost done making a ribbon. I think you need a nap after making it. I'm sure you'd want to eat it first. That's what a ribbon is, right? I know words. Okay. Now, this thing is slower than us, which does confer a skill bonus, but that only puts us on equal footing. Fuck it, let's go. Let's fucking go. I've only got 7 armor though, so I need to be very careful with this. I do have the option of escape. So that's 5 and I need more than 5. I don't get it, so I immediately take damage. 2, 5. Okay, yep, going to have to escape. I'm going to need to test my luck to not take damage in that scenario. It's me taking damage in that scenario, but I do escape. 331. You flee from the Nothosaurus. If you're in a robot, free hit. I'm barely in a fucking robot. There's 2 luck points for abandoning the sleepers to the tender mercies of the hungry dinosaurs. Fuck me. That's 3 points I'm down to now. Sorry, I was covering up the text I was reading. If you've not already explored the south of the city, you may do so. Yeah, because I've got full confidence that's going to go well. You go south through the deserted city. Small lizards scuttle about. You remember that you are not far from the edge of the jungle here. Ahead you see a long gleaming spire, like a huge length of mottled pipe. What will you do? You can do it! Oh no! It turns out I fucking can. Hey Summer. I was correct. It's also a battle of using sauerkraut without making the bread soggy. The eternal sandwich question. Don't downplay the battle tractor. What fucking battle tractor? It's got one left. If 8-Bit Goggles was watching this, he'd have worse to say about the battle tractor, but they are streaming at the moment. Huge length of mortared pipe. Oh yeah, the long gleaming shape. Hell of it. Wait you go for this. It looks like a gigantic... Oh, hold on. It looks like a gigantic snake, but as you approach you see it is actually a robot, a Serpent 7. This unit was designed to track and hunt dinosaurs. It has no legs, its gripper arms fold against the body when not in use. Its shape gives it good mobility in the jungle. I so thought this was going to be like the last combat encounter we had. So yeah, if you like it, you can take the Serpent 7. If you already have a robot, make a note of the fact that robot will be here should you return. I am 100% taking this robot that has more than one armor. Excuse me. Armor 9. 8. Jungle. Fast. Cover. Medium. The programmer in me wanted to put else there, but I resisted the temptation. AB +1. Okay, so I don't know if I'll be able to abbreviate this efficiently, but there we go. Sa. Attack of 16 or greater. Coil. Round. Oh. +1 damage each round. Bang flying creatures. There we go. And the farm robot was left at... That's a terrible @ symbol. So we left that one at 208. If you've already explored to the... If you've not explored to the north, you can do so with 16. Or leave off exploring the city and turn to 137. Well, that's what we're doing in that case. And off to the jungle, because there might be a plant there. I want that plant. I will put it in my face. Dinosaur hunting, jungle optimized killing machine, or a currently barely on fire farm implement. Like it barely on fire. Like it's in such a horrible state, it would be an upgrade to say that it is in fact fully on fire. How am I equipped for this trip? A non-flying robot. Well, technically it's not even a walking robot, it's a delivery boy. But walking robot. Well, non-flying is what it said. He set off into the jungle, along a path wide enough for a robot or a dinosaur. Soon the path forks. If you go right, turn to 19. If you go left, turn to 73. Just write down that I'm going left, because stick to the left. Almost immediately, the path forks again. To the left, a large sign says, "Danger, man trap." There is no sign by the right path. If you go left, well, man trap is exactly what I'm looking for, so... Wait. It's a man trap plant I'm looking for. We'll risk it. I'm in a robot. What's the worst that could happen? Soon you arrive at a large clearing. In the middle of the clearing is a huge plant with many spiky leaves. In the centre of the plant, barely within reach, is a stalk bearing several huge red and yellow blossoms. What will you do? Examine the plant more carefully, pick a flower, circle around the plant and continue. Gonna go cautious. The music got very appropriate considering jungle. As you examine the plant, you get the uneasy feeling that it is examining you too. Turn to 248. Fucking bruh. Holy shit, I want to fight the robo-tank, look at that. I'm sure it should remind me of something. Something that's basically got the upper half of a human and tank treads. But, yeah. A real man trap would be growing gold bars and cheeseburgers. Oh, that would get me. Shit. Get me a decent cheeseburger, then... What's that? It's in the bamboo cage? Right, show me in. The spiky leaves reach towards you, and the flower stalk pulls back to show a fanged mouth. The plant is hungry. Since the man-trap plant has caught hold of you before the battle starts, differences in speed do not matter. You cannot escape. Right, let's do this. In my snack bot. There we go. We can actually see stuff now. Can't quite see everything at once, unfortunately, because I've set this up in a way that doesn't help. But I feel like this luck charm should have done more than it has. Well, I started off with luck 6 and it gave me 2. That's what happened. Okay. Skill of 9. And I get +1 combat bonus from the serpent bots. And the speed doesn't matter. So it means we are on equal footing. I just have to roll the dice and see who gets higher total. 5, that's me, so man if only I could invoke the Witch King loophole on that one. And put up with the lifetime of bullshit that comes with it. Armor 8, so we just did damage. That's a 6. Round 2. Oh, that's looking good for me. He only rolled a 2, and I rolled a 7. That is more damage. Round 3. That's a 9. The kitty cat is a 6, unfortunately, because that's the other side. It's a 1. It's a lovely kitty cat, but it's not fucking helping me out at the moment. Yeah, I take 2 to my arm. 3 versus 9. Just one more hit and this plant will be dead. 7. 8. Yes. Man trap defeated. If you defeat the man trap, return to 97. That's too far. 2 was too far. The battle is over. You have torn the man trap plant into 1,000 pieces. Nothing remains of the vicious vegetable except a damper spot on the ground. I kinda needed that. Spat on the book as well. Fucking hell. Turn to 237. You continue through the jungle. It is hard going. Hidden pits and logs take their toll on your robot. Reduce its armor by 2. It's down to 5 now. If it reduces to 0 or less, leave its armor at 1. Eventually the city comes into view. You are relieved. But as you enter it, you twice see flying Corosian robots patrolling overhead. Each time you hold your own robot motionless and they overlook you. But you realise that this city is no longer safe. There are Corosians everywhere. If you came to this city in another robot and you would like to switch back to it, turn to 45. If you stay in your current robot and run the fuck away, turn to 298. I will turn to 298. You're leaving the city of the jungle. Where will you go? Capital city. I've been to the other ones and it's only helped me so much. You are in the capital city, the seat of government of Thalos. It is a noble city, full of white marble buildings. It is also the main base of the invaders, and you know you must be very careful. Below you have 5 options. Some of them will eventually return you to this paragraph. You may not make the same choice twice. Every time you return here, you must make a new selection. Where will you go? What's the National Treasure House have for us? You have arrived at the National Treasure House, a great grey building. It is the repository of all of Thalos' gold. To your surprise, it is guarded only by a single Corosian sentry standing in front of the building. If you have a robot turned to 319, I do. How the fuck would I have got to this city otherwise? Although I suppose I could lose it exploring one of the other areas. This is almost too easy. You proceed past the sentry as though everything were alright. Then, at the last second, you change course. The last thing the sentry sees is the huge hulk of your machine looming over him. I mean, I thought it was a sentry robot. Is this implying that I snuck up on this poor sod just standing out there on his own from within like a 7-ton mecha? Let's see what 143 has to say for itself. You enter the National Treasury House. Normally you would never be allowed inside, but now who is to stop you? You feast your eyes on gold bars of all sizes, sacks of coins and bags of jewels, but you see nothing that looks like a weapon. However, in the warehouse area is a cargo handling robot. You may take it if you wish. If you have no robot right now, you will certainly take it. Yeah, I'm gonna possibly... I do like the idea of cargo crab, but aside from being able to carry large quantities of goods or equipment, I want to crush with Mechsneck. No, Mechsneck wins out, I'm afraid. You must leave your robot if any... Okay, turn to 363. As you prepare to leave, it occurs to you that a few bars of this treasure, or perhaps more than a few, would be a fair compensation for your troubles so far. If you've taken the cargo crab, I have not turned to 20. Since your robot is not designed for cargo, you can carry only a small amount of gold. If you want to load up what you can, turn to 287. If not, leave empty-handed. 287, yeah, well, I'm not above it. Oh, motherfucker. In the middle of your labour, you hear a grinding noise, and look up to see 3 huge tanks and a dozen grinning soldiers. Resistance would be useless. And to add insult to injury, they do not treat you as a prisoner of war, but a common criminal. You are sent to a life of hard labour in the Corosian slave pits. Your adventure is over, and it was not a heroic ending. Oh shit, I don't even remember where I came from. Does anyone else remember? I remember 363 came into it at some point, but I think that's too far back to... Oh, nope. So I'll say I didn't get to the end, but just continue as if that didn't happen to see how it would go. City Hospital. You decide to investigate the capital city hospital. If you want to stay in your robot, if you want to go on foot. I'm going to go on foot, so 152. Yes, I am keeping my finger on the previous page. Why do you ask? You move cautiously through the once busy streets. In the distance, you see a pair of enemy robots striding along, but they take no notice of you. You reach the hospital safely. Turn to 192. Shit indeed, Pixie Goo. Shit indeed. So I can't actually remember if I said Pixie Goo when you came in. So just in case, I haven't said it. You arrive safely at the capital city hospital. You can see that you will have to be careful. You hear voices echoing through the halls. If you possess the Cloak of Invisibility and have not used it, you may use it now. If you have used it, don't have it, or simply choose not to, turn to Scavenger 4. If you seek treatment for your injuries, I fucking do. You are wearing a Corrosian uniform? I actually am, yeah. I never took that off. You round a corner and run right into 3 Corrosian doctors. They look at you keenly. What will you do? Pretend to think? Exploring the hospital with a multi-ton snake mech sounds like an OSHA approved action. Well, as long as you're wearing a hard hat, it should be absolutely fine. Aha, fainting worked. The doctors pick you up and hoist you between them. The doctors pick you up and hoist you between them to a treatment room. Soon, a robot surgeon is working on you. Restore your stamina to its initial level. What the fuck was that again? I didn't write it down properly. 22, I think. So I should probably write them all up here. This is where they all started. As soon as you are left alone in a recovery room, you take your leave. Unfortunately, your uniform is gone. You borrow suitable clothes from a sleeping man in the hallway and continue. If you look for information on sleeping sickness, turn to 395. Why the hell not? Probably nothing I don't already know, but... yeah. If you have already concocted a potion to cure the sleeping sickness, what the fuck did you turn to this for? You dash down the hallway, following the signs marked library. You turn a corner and run headlong into a Corrosian guard. You finish him off before he can summon aid, but he wounds you slightly. Lose 1 stamina point. Once in the library, you ransack it for information on sleeping sickness. 1 stamina point. Yep, okay. So this surgical robot doesn't notice you're human. I think it's just nations. Like, we're all the same species, so it doesn't seem to care about that. So it's just 2 big ass countries that don't like each other all that much. But we are the goodies, that's all you need to know. Once at the library, you ransack it for information on sleeping sickness, but you find nothing. The relevant volumes are all missing. You realise this has been a wild goose chase. Carefully, slip out of the hospital and away. 3-8. We're in capital city. Not been to the Capitol building, but honest to God, what's the point? You decide to visit the Capitol building, the seat of government of Phallus. If you go on your robot, if you travel on foot. Travel on foot again. It worked out last time. You decide to go on foot. If you possess the Cloak of Invisibility, I do not. Turn to 134 instead. You try your best to sneak in without being seen, but there are too many enemies about. If you have an enemy uniform, I don't anymore. It was too quick to leave that bloody hospital. But, got my stamina back. Did I spy the word Super Cowboy Robot? That's rad. Got a better eye than me. Building is crawling with Corrosians. There's no point in even thinking about entering. You return to your robot. Boo. So that just leaves the enemy encampment or just exploring. A wild goose chase with a body count. Very good point. 31. You decide to explore the streets of the capital city. How will you travel? Ground travel going left. Yep, start going left. It's the orderly way of doing things. You go down a street of tall buildings and turn a corner. In front of you is a Corrosian robot, but its back is turned to you. What will you do? What's the difference between attack it and challenge it, I wonder? Like, in the context of this book, I imagine it's... You know what? I'm too curious. I'm gonna challenge it. It's, you know, like, dinosaur top trumps? Having provoked a battle, you must now finish it. The enemy robot turns and attacks. It is a battleman. That sounds like something I would call it, rather than... If the battleman's roll exceeds your own by 4, it does 1 extra point of damage to you. Fucking hell. And more highly skilled. And with the same speed. But I may not escape, so I have to fucking go for it with my 5 armor. Battleman. It'll be interesting to see how many times I've died on this journey that we somehow still get to the end of. Okay. So my skill is 8. There we go. Now we can see everything. My skill is 8, my armor is 5. Well, combat bonus +1, so my skill is 9. Their skill is 11. So I need 2 more than whatever they roll. So their roll is 5, I need 7. That's not 7. Their roll is 6, I need 8. That's an 8. But I think that just evens. Shit. Okay, their roll is 3. Mine is 11, so yes. Finally, I do damage to them. Yep, that exceeds my roll by 4 and it does an extra point of damage to me. That puts my armor to 0. Let's see how I die. At least it was a heroic death this time. That's more I can say about the last 2. Your luck can't last forever, since you are without a robot in a hostile city. Eventually, you are spotted and captured. When your countrymen awake, they join you in the slave pens. Someday you may escape, but for now your adventure is over. So yeah, that's... Is that 2 or 3 on the death count at this point? There was the cowboy robot again. I'm not seeing it. Oh, 3 you think? Oh look, the battleman fell in a hole and died. You clanked through a small park and down a short street. In front of you, you see a crowd of Croatian soldiers looting a shop. If you turn and flee, 216, of course we're gonna fight them. They scatter in fear, all but one. He climbs into a large construction robot nearby and pilots it towards you. If your own robot is faster than slow, you can escape. If you'd rather fight, yeah, we're gonna fight. And our non-existent robots, we automatically win. Because fortunately for us, the Croatian soldier inside does not really know how to use this robot. The 2 dice you roll for the construction robot ever totals 6 or less turn to 194. Well, we'll kid on that happens, shall we? Yeah, those potholes are a real sumbitch. The enemy construction robot raises huge claws and moves towards you. It rolls on 8 fast wheels. It only has a few guns to protect against attacking dinosaurs, but it has 4 huge arms mounted all around. The other robot's control bubble springs open and out flies the Croatian soldier who was piloting it. His unfamiliarity with the controls was fatal. He hit the ejection lever by mistake. He falls under the wheels of his own machine and is lost. If you wish, you can take the construction robot instead of your current robot. Its combat bonus is 0. Sure. I seem to be mysteriously lacking a robot for some reason, so... I'm actually running out of space for robots. me. Why's it got a skill rating? No, why am I writing that down? That's the skill rating of the pilot, not... combat bonus is 0. Okay. Whether you take it or not, go back to 308. And all that's left is the enemy encampment, so we can fucking die again. You'd best go to bed now. Night, Pixie Q. Thank you for dropping in. Have a good sleep. The main encampment of the Corrosians is easy enough to find. They have taken over the city stadium. Even from a distance, you can see flying robots wheeling overhead. What? I don't know, two different things. If you approach in your robot, turn to 18. If you go on foot, turn to 32. Yes, well. I don't know when I'll sleep tonight, actually. It's usually between 12 and 1 these days. Go in the robot. It's not going to be any benefit to going on foot, it'll just get captured. If you fly towards the enemy encampment, well, we can't do that, so we'll turn to 187 instead. You have not gone far before you have to pass through a narrow gate that leads into the outer part of the stadium. There, you are challenged by a group of robots. 88 comes the password. If you know the countersign, turn to that number. If not, turn to 50. I have one possibility. Nope, that wasn't it. Actually, maybe... No, I said, challenge minus 2 Joule, that makes no sense. Does it? Let me read all those options again. Use a password, try to... I think I can use this, actually. It would help if I had any clue where I got this 111 from. Right, what happens if I turn to 173? See if that one makes sense, and then we'll decide whether or not we can use it. You give one of the passwords you have learned, but it is no use. Soon you're chained to a wall awaiting the pleasure of Minus. Your adventure is over. I slept for your alarm. Dang it. Nevertheless, welcome you in. Good to have you. Oh shit, I've turned back to the wrong page. 373, I think we were at. Nope. 363? Okay, I think we were on 18. Yep, travel on the ground, 187. Right, we're back on track now. I do not know the countersign, turn to 50. And... fuck. Died anyway. Hello. The Corrosian troops, already nervous because of the Rotsafalian robots so large, don't hesitate. They set off a buried mine placed beneath the gate as a precaution. Your robot is shattered, your adventure is over. I don't know if there's much to be done at that point. There's not many ways we could salvage this particular adventure, and look at this. This is an adventure we have been on. Let me have a quick look through and see if I can figure out where I got that 111 from, because it might give some extra context as to whether or not I can actually use it here. So, oh, there it is. Super Cowboy Robot. You were not lying. It exists. Carries a sonic screamer weapon designed to distract dinosaurs. Oh, okay. Anyway, find out where I learned 111. Where the fuck has it gone? Yes, I am literally looking over every one of these 400 paragraphs to see if I can find out why I wrote that shit down. Yeah, so if I'd been to the City of Storms, I could have gone to the City of Guardians, because I happened to find the book that told me where that was. So like I said, I have read this one before, I just don't happen to remember where the exact route to get through. I have to give to the designer credit, that's a lot of robots. It is more than a one. So, a wanderer, for your benefit, the story of all this is there's this neighbouring nation to yours who are getting a bit mad with it, and you wake up one day to find that all your fellow countrymen have fallen asleep. And not just the countrymen, the countrywomen and the country children too. And the neighbouring Hangme nation has invaded. And you're the only one that's left awake for some reason, so you have to single-handedly take back the entire goddamn place from them. Also, this is the cover, which is, you know, just rad. Unfortunately, it's reflecting the light that's emitted from the phone, but nevertheless, still looks pretty rad. The country folk, not the country women. Did you think I meant country matters? Yeah, country folk is a much better way of saying it, but give me the chance to quote the prequels, I probably will. It is very rad. Dinosaurs, robots, I'm in. Hacker voice, I'm in. I'm now convinced that nobody actually knows what hacker voice sounds like. If it's a reference to something, it's something I've never watched. You know, normally I know the origins of most memes that I peruse through, or especially the ones I repeat myself. Apart from egg, I just like saying that one too much to you know, potentially ruin it by finding out the origin. Just the serious tone like I did. I'm in. Egg. It's getting dangerously close to Jonathan Reed voice from Vampire. Most people are fans of the word egg. God damn it. What are you bloody paragraphs as do you see it? Aha! Dueling Customs, number of the book is 111. Oh, for fuck's sake, I misspelled dueling. Dueling. That'll do. I'll just have to remember that it's customs. Hold on, gotta grab my... No, I've no idea what that last word is between the borders, sorry. Well, that's weird, Pandora. It looks like you said supremacy, but there's just this big space between your name and the word supremacy. I don't know what's going on there. So, I'm gonna get you in trouble with who? The fucking Polis? We've heard there's been a juice crime up in this establishment. So yeah, challenge Minos to a duel, why not? You demand the right, as a representative of your people, the only one that's bloody awake. The Twitch Polis. Oh, they'd be in trouble. I'd be in trouble with them fucking years before this. As a representative of your people. Nearly got there, let's try that again. From the top. Next thing you know, BAM! Robots. Sounded like a crime. Yes, you're right. Oh god. I should never have admitted this. The chat's rebelling against us. They've turned the chat against us. Excuse me. Right. Oh, son of a fuck. Thank you for the clip, Pandora. You demand the right, as a representative of your people to duel mine us. The officer in charge shakes his head. Search him, he orders his men. Your heart sinks. You are stripped of all your possessions, including medkits. But then the sentries take you directly to Minos himself. 158. If you possess the Sword of State, 242. If not, 214. To jail with me. Minos is a huge burly man with a curling black beard. His uniform is gold encrusted and ornate. He studies you with amusement. Duel you? He says. Why should I duel you, Phalian vermin? I'm the only Phalian awake, you reply. You have to duel me, I demand it. Around Minos, the other officers mutter. Test your luck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, look at that. I didn't roll less than 3. No, nay joy. If I'm unlucky, 297. The tyrant shakes his head. Just because you're a Thalion doesn't mean I have to duel you. Take him away. You've done your best, but it wasn't enough. Your adventure is over. It's time to prison. So, pretend for a second that we did manage that luck roll. Tyrant shakes his head. Just because you're a Thalion doesn't mean I have to duel you. But, hearing his men grumble, he adds, until you prove yourself, that is. If you can defeat one of my officers, you will prove that you are worthy to face me. Instantly, one of his followers, a big, scarred brute, leaps out with drawn sword. Your sword is returned to you. You will have to fight the Corosian officer. I'll give it a go. 21 stamina though, that was doable. Jeez, what kind of government is this? It's like if after D-Day some German POW demanded to dual patent to get the Allies to leave France. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I'd watch that 3-part miniseries. Okay, officer. 12, fucking Christ. Yeah, so I take damage right there. Because I have a score of 8, you have a score of 11, so I have to roll 4 more than them to do damage. Oh, you like the dice? This is just like a cheapo one I got as a big bundle of different dice sets. It's because I was DMing for folk and they didn't have dice of their own, so I just bought like a 4-pack of RPG dice. But these ones are from a Kickstarter, I believe. And they are rather lovely. And the highest number is a cat. 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 No, focus is fixed on that one as well. Why wouldn't it be Gordon? So yeah, took damage for that one. Sparkles indeed. Right, 3, so I need to get 4 more than 3. Do damage. That's not 4 more than 3. So, yep. So officer is kicking fuck it is. Catwatch 0015748536 a cat. 10, so yeah, I can't beat that. Nope, can't beat that. Bye, dice. There we go. Oh, potentially I can beat that. 8 or more. Nope. Not got a single hit on this fucker yet. Oh, finally did it. Officer. And he is stamina 11, except now he's down to 9. 3, 9. Yeah, I can't beat that, so 10, 9, 8. 7. I can beat that potentially. And I would have beat it if that spelled out the number I'd rolled rather than got totaled up. Now this one I might be able to do. Fucking barely, but... in fact, yeah. Five, so I need 9. And I got it. Turning the tide here. It's happening. I'll have like 2 stamina to defeat Minos with, but apart from that... okay. Go for officer. Need a 9 to beat him. That's not a 9. Officer again. That's... no, he's fucking killed us. So that's 4 times I've died now. You only need stamina if you fail your rolls. I've failed a lot of rolls. And I had stamina. I was pretty much full when we started this. Oh, don't worry about it, David. That's like the 4th time we've died and just decided to pretend we can continue. Sure seems hard. Yeah, your stamina does fail often. Your opponent falls mortally wounded. A gasp goes up from the circle of officers watching the battle. As you reel back, one of them catches you. You see Minos dusting off his hands and drawing his sword. Here, drink this, says the Corosian officer who kept you from falling. If you drink the flask he offers, turn to 388. You know what? They're honourable. I'll take this. You drink. A tingling goes through your body. You put up a good show, says the officer in a whisper. By law you shouldn't have to duel Minos until you can rest, but he's coming for you right now. This will even the odds. You thank him for his sportsmanship. Obviously not all Corosians are totally bad. The officer's healing drink gives you 4 stamina points or restores you to your initial stamina, whichever is less. Okay, so it would have given me +4. Into 330. Then the officer suffered a fatal heart attack and Icky was free to continue. Indeed, you'd be surprised how often that happens in this book. At least when I'm playing it. Minos draws a huge, jeweled, throbbing sword. Okay, I think I added a word in there. You know he did not become a tyrant of Corossia by being soft or weak. But you didn't get this far by being weak either. Defend yourself, Corossian, you shout. A murmur. Could it be approval? Rises from the watching officers. You battle Minos. To the death. Oh, he fell over and died and he can't get back up. You have slain Minos in fair combat. By ancient custom of the Corossians, his tribe, the whole Corossian nation must now submit to your judgment. Needless to say, you ordered that they awaken your people and leave your country with all their men and machines. And they do. Before you know it, things are back to normal. Almost. One little thing is different. The day on which you defeated Minos is now a national holiday, named after you. You are truly, and forever, a hero. One of those books, is it? Lots of throbbing and heaving. Hey. So that's one possible ending of that book that we got to the end of with only 4 deaths. Yes. So there is another thing I wanted to try out quickly. I may save it for another day, I may not, but that all depends if Rizalka is currently awake, because I believe it's something she needs to see. In the meantime, gonna draw a cat. With weird music in the background, considering that I'm drawing a cat. Hello, I'm here. Good. And cat. This is not why I called you here, Rizalka. I had another book. A shorter book. A book I believe is relevant to your interests. Yeah, I've got a very odd collection of adventure game books. Well, this one's just labelled adventure game by the look of things. Access the incredible virtual world of TV's ReBoot. A new arrival in mainframe claims to be able to kill viruses, but Bob suspects the mysterious stranger is out to delete even more. Excuse me. With this game book, oh now it's a game book. With this game book, you can join Bob, Dot and Enzo in an exciting adventure. There are life or death decisions to be made and it's all up to you. It's alphanumeric! Well, it does contain letters and numbers, so that is, strictly speaking, true. Oh dear. Wow, I should have started with this, Jesus. Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's Sonic Adventure game books. I've got Indiana Jones one. I've even got a Lemmings one. That is an interesting one in itself, just how that works, but that's for another day. I'll need a die. I will need a pencil to hand to record access codes. And game stars on the adventure notes pages at the back of the book. Adventure codes appear when you have discovered a useful clue or item. They show you are on the right track. If you get caught up playing in a GameCube, game stars will tell you how you did. Okay, that's all you need to know. Access page 1. I'm not going to be doing any impressions here because I cannot for the fuck of me remember how any of those characters sounded. It's been a long ass time since I've watched any ReBoot. All is quiet in Dot's diner until the door suddenly swings open and an excited binom rushes in. So, something I want to point out real quick. One, difference in text size here. Bit of a difference. Just minor difference. And also the thickness of the books. One of these was written for a slightly older audience. Or one of them was a cheap cash grab and they put less time into it. Shame you're not on the microphone, they can do it. Should have thought of that one. Maybe another time if I've got another... I think I have another one of these books. And if not, some of them are quite cheap and collecting weird adventure game books is my thing anyway, so it'll find its way into my hands at some point. Not so fast, monsieur, says Cecil. Please wait at the bar. I'm assuming that's how bad the accent would be in a 90s cartoon. I'm not here to eat, cries the binom. Where's Bob? There's a tear in the park. Hearing this, Bob hurries over with Enzo in tow. Come on, he says. We have to get to the park before that tear spreads. He am collect. He am collect. No. Parsing. Error. No clue. Thanks to their zip boards, they reached the park in no time. With the help of Glitch, Bob has soon fixed the tear. Voices as I remember. He am collect. Ah, right. What exactly is a tear, says Enzo. Enzo, we've been at this for fucking years, says Bob. It's a hole in space, kind of, says Bob, as he packs Glitch away. Enzo says, Bob, why wasn't there a space between this quotation mark and the next word? Megabyte was Tony J, so yes. And things can fall through, huh? Yes, but if the tear isn't stabilised, the things that fall through usually get torn apart. Why do you ask? Because, says Enzo, pointing to a figure lying in the bushes nearby, I think that guy must have fallen through from somewhere else. 10. The stranger slowly comes round. Where am I? Is the first thing he asks. Mainframe, says Enzo. Who are you? Questions Bob. The stranger gets to his feet and climbs out of the bushes. He's wearing long black boots and a black cloak with a white collar, and his face is half in shadow because of his wide-brimmed hat. My name is Torquay. I come from the network. Megabyte, amazing. Fong, traditional Oriental old man number 7. Oh, Christ. It's almost everyone's fan fiction for the... Oh, no. I mean, technically, apart from the fact it's got the branding. Unless it's got some kind of warning that says this is a work of fiction that is not... Actually, is there a copyright? Mainframe joint venture copyright. Licensed by Copyright Promotions Limited. Who the fuck got that company name? You know, that's like getting Dave as your Twitter account name. Right. Let's see what else Dave Morris has for us. Hex. Calm and collected until... Stranger slowly comes... Oh, hold on, we've read that part. Before they can talk further, a crowd of sprites run over. Bob, cries one. There's another tear on the other side of the park. Another one? Enzo, you stay here with Torquay. Bob zooms off on his zipboard. Torquay looks about with a grim expression. Two can search better than one, he says. I think I'll go looking for that tear myself. Before Enzo can even try to stop him, Torquay is dashed off. Should Enzo follow him? Nope, follow him. Make note of the access code Fullman. By using his zipboard, Enzo just manages to keep up with Torquay. Up ahead, Torquay has found the tear. Enzo is just wondering how he intends to go about fixing it when the mysterious stranger pulls out a long-barreled silver gun. The gun blasts a pellet of glowing red light that nullifies the tear. Alphanumeric, says Enzo, catching up. Wait till I tell Bob about that. It might be better to keep it as our little secret, says Torquay darkly, as he puts the gun away. Just then, Bob comes flying down on the zipboard. I couldn't find the tear, he says. Never mind, says Torquay. I've already dealt with it. Matrix 90s action. Everyone else Canadian TV standard. Yeah, sounds about right. Back at Dodge Steiner, Torquay tells them a little more about his background. He is a virus hunter whose mission is to get rid of dangers to the systems. How did you come to be here? Asks Dot. Torquay presses a black-gloved hand to his high forehead. I can't quite remember. Something about a tear, I think. I'm not sure. It must have been an unstable portal, says Bob. But I wonder how it was you fell into it. Oh well, perhaps your memory will return eventually. Torquay would like to see more of Mainframe. If you think Dot is the best person to show him around, access page 46. If you think Bob should do it, access page 55. I'm gonna go with Dot. Dot takes Torquay to Al's Diner, a slow food restaurant that she owns. Sorry, it took me a second to parse that. I have quite a lot of business interests in Mainframe, she tells him. Torquay is suspicious. How is that? What businesses do you own? Where did you get the credits? Why are you richer and more influential than other data sprites? I'm going to seize the means of production. Sterling Archer probably merits a follow-up, but I don't know the context of that one. Whoa, says Dot, more taken aback than offended. That's a lot of questions. Where I come from, says Torquay sternly, a sprite with too much influence is on their way to becoming a virus. Before Dot can reply, a couple of mean-looking viral binomes barge in through the door. Al's waiter looks at them with dismay. They're megabytes, fugs, he says to Dot. Slow food? Escargot? C'est français? Without waiting to hear more, Torquay strides past the thugs and leaves. Should Dot follow him? She ought to stay and deal with the thugs. I think she better deal with them. Who are you two? Asks Dot. We're not two, says the first Bino. I'm 3, he's 7. He used to work in the numbers, says 7, but now we're in the protection racket. Yeah, says 3. You pay us the insurance, and we'll see to it that Al's diner doesn't get trashed, see? Dot is seething with anger. Al's waiter puts her hand on her arm. Better not do anything rash, he whispers. They're mean guys. They'll delete you as soon as look at you. Should Dot stand up to these two thugs? If you think so, yeah, stand up to 2 of them. 2 on 1, what could possibly happen? Dot picks up a spanner and hefts it menacingly, whacking it into her palm. Hey you bozos, what's 7 free? I'm 7, says one. He's 3. Dot shakes her head. 7 free is 10, you dip switch, and that's how many nanoseconds I'm giving you to get out of here before I perform some long division with this spanner. 1, 2. I think she's threatening us, 7. There's no reply. 7 is already running off down the street. Dot steps over, smiling, and shows Free the spanner. You going or staying? Oh, I'm going. Bowing to the applause of Al's customers, Dot goes looking for Torquay. The virus hunter is, in fact, back at the diner, where Enzo is bouncing with excitement. Did you hear the news, huh, Dot? A whole sector got offline. Is anyone hurt? Asks Dot. Well, he's some of Megabyte's goons. It was one of his sectors. Sorry from Archer. Just statements that probably require further investigation but are just ignored. You return! Huzzah! Torquay remains suspicious. Some people tried to extort Dot for protection money and she waved a spanner at them. The sky flashes as if a storm is brewing. Bob feels a thrill of anticipation as he hears the familiar words, "Warning, incoming game." Bob looks up. A vast cube of shimmering energy is descending towards the ground. Sprites flee in terror, not wanting to get caught inside the GameCube. Bob leaps onto his zipboard and streaks across the rooftops. He's closely followed by Torquay, who's keen to see what all the fuss is about. The GameCube hits the ground with a shudder. From outside, it looks as if someone has built a block of glowing plate glass around a whole sector. On the inside, a worn-torn landscape of blasted earth and drifting smoke spreads out in front of Torquay and Bob. It's battle droids, says Bob, touching the emblem on his clothes. ReBoot! So this is his mighty morphing whatever, I'm guessing. 1 second. Water. Oh. Bob finds himself inside the glass cockpit of a droid. Other droids lumber past nearby, and inside one he sees Torquay. With their long arms and short legs, the droids look like mechanical gorillas with fishbowls in place of heads. "What have we got to do?" says Torquay over the cockpit radio. "See that enemy gun turret?" says Bob, pointing it across the battlefield. "The first trick is to reach it without getting blown sky high." Bob has 3 options. He can charge straight at the turret, zigzag towards it, or use one of the missiles mounted on his droid's shoulders. Try zigzagging. Roll a die. If you score 1 to 3, if you score 4 or more. 4 or more, so page 56. Bob's droid is blown to smithereens. He's flung through the air, landing with a painful jolt. As he picks himself up and dusts himself off, he sees Torquay's droids charging off into the smoke. The virus hunter wins, to the delight of the watching sprites. He raises his arms, accepting their adulation with a frosty smile, as the GameCube vanishes and things return to normal. Lose the access code BAIL if you had it, then turn to 76. There are many threats to life and liberty in Mainframe, it seems to me, declares Torquay grandly. But the city now has another champion. Me. Bob is worried. The way Torquay talks suggests he isn't quite sane. Later, when he has a chance to speak to Dot, Bob mentions what he's been thinking. Trivia: Battle Droids was the original name for Battletech until George Lucas sued them from orbit. Yeah. Hell, I think there was a Ralph Bakshi film that... Yeah, it was going to be called War Wizards, but George Lucas was supposedly a professional acquaintance of his. And suggested, can you maybe change that so we don't have 2 movies with war in the title? Okay, thanks. Torquay's Batman. No, I could not keep that up. Anyway, it was sounding a lot closer to Solid Snake in my interpretation, so... I'm trying to defeat this game. The GameCube came down out of nowhere. But I'm dummy thick. No, I can't do it as well as Pixel. And after that I need more water. I'm Torquay. Doc glances at Torquay, who is staring out across the city with his arms clasped behind his back. His expression is brooding and full of hidden anger and money and bat-like thoughts. It's pretty amazing. Oh, thank you. I think you might be right, she says. But how can we keep him under control? He's a person of very determined views, to say the least. Be right back. No worries, Dave. While Bob and Dot are busy talking outside, Enzo notices Torquay go outside. He does not return. Should Enzo follow and see where he's going? Absolutely. Get Enzo killed, why not? Italian. Okay, write that down. Torquay stalks through the streets like an avenging angel. Every time he sees any evidence of wrongdoing, he immediately terminates the guilty sprite with a blast from his gun. Such wholesale deleting would be bad enough if he was just picking on those who work for Megabyte, but he also callously offlines sprites for jaywalking, graffiti, parking violations and dropping litter. So perish all enemies of the network, is his remorseless battle cry. Get with the program, thinks Enzo. This guy is several sectors short of a full disc. Should Enzo lead the virus hunter to Megabyte or go... Nah, let's head back at this point. The guy is clearly gun happy. Enzo tries to get Torquay to go back to the diner, but to no avail. I have other matters to attend to, snaps the virus hunter. Mainframe is riddled with viruses. I shall destroy them all. He's not Batman, he's Judge Dredd. I think you ought to talk to Bob first, says Enzo. Bob? He's weakly. He's not have the strength to deal with mainframe's problems in the way they must be dealt with. Which is how? Asks Enzo. Torquay raises his gun and shoots several sizzling blasts into the sky. Wholesale nullification! Mainframe is suffering from the viruses of crime and complacency. I shall cut out disease, even if it results in deleting the patient. Yeah, I don't know how long I can keep up any of these voices. I have been going for 3 hours after all, and that's 2.5 hours more than I usually do on a daily basis. Torquay storms off. Rather than follow him again uselessly, Enzo sets off to get Bob. The situation is getting way out of hand. Where could Torquay have got to, wonders Dot. Wherever there might be trouble, that's where we'll find him, says Bob. Where should they try looking? If you think Torquay might be with Fong at the principal office, it says page 15. If they should go to Megabyte's Tower, 24. If you reckon Torquay is in the city of Lost Angles, 33. Let's try Fong. Welcome, my son, says Fong as Bob strides into the vast principal office. Will you challenge me to a game? No time, states Bob curtly. The wise old Fong is completely unruffled. You know the rules, my son. If you want my advice, you must first win a game of PONG. What's the point? Gasps Bob. You never beat me anyway. If you think Bob ought to stay for a game, access page 42. If you think Fong's advice isn't worth having, Bob might try visiting Megabyte or Hexadecimal. You're just thinking that just before. Where is he getting the stamina from, I guess? From my napping. Yes, you napping is what gave us the stamina to do retcons. Let's stay for a game. The puck goes spinning back and forth. Infuriatingly, Fong is on top form today and it takes longer than ever for Bob to beat him. At last the puck goes shooting over Fong's shoulder and there is a bleep as it strikes the score zone on the wall behind him. You win again, my son, he says, shrugging his thin shoulders. Bob calls up a viewed window. It's too late, he yells angrily. Outside, a crater is spreading swiftly through the city from its centre on Lost Angels. It was Lost Angels, bollocks. In the depths of the crater, there was nothing at all. A total void. It's the virus hunter, says Bob in the instant before the crater reaches them. Turquoise deleted the whole of mainframe. Then everything ceases to exist. You failed this time, but don't be discouraged. You can always try again. Just cross off any access codes and GameStars you scored this time and access page 1 again. Craters don't expand. That's not how that... anyway. So, you know, go back to Fong. Actually, no, let's just not. Because challenging him to a game got us killed. Wow, the world ended because you played Pong. What is this, War Games? Head straight to Lost Angels, see what happens. Fong, there's a man threatening to destroy mainframe and I figured the principal office was a prime target. Can we just get playing Pong? Exactly. I don't get any fun around here. As Bob flies over the crazily twisted girders of the Gilded Gate Bridge, he sees something shimmering across the tarmac below like a swarm of glowing wasps. The Nulls can sense danger, he realises. Something must have panicked them, and now they're heading out of Lost Angels into the city. The Nulls mustn't be allowed to overrun mainframe. If Bob ought to stop and somehow distract them, 69, nice. If he should hurry on to Hexadecimal and get her to call them back. Oh, it's a raid. It is a Goggles raid. Hello. So you were playing Sayonara Wild Hearts. How was that? Also, what is that? I recognise the name vaguely, but nothing else is coming to mind. Hello. How are you? Thank you for bringing people in. Yep, ReBoot adventure game book. It was vibes. Well, it certainly sounds like you enjoyed it. But now I have to look up what this is. Goggles was vibing. Well, that's always good. Music-based action game. Yeah. With surreal story. Oh, yeah. I can see that appealing to you, absolutely. A playable pop album. Excellent. Right, so the story so far, well, the story of the stream is we were playing this. I died 4 times and then just cheated my way to the ending. But look at that cover. That alone tells me you have to give this a try. And then, because a friend of mine is a big ReBoot fan, I brought this one out. Arguably not even the weirdest choose your own adventure book. Oops, shit, I said the trademark. It is a hell of a cover, look at that. That is the raddest. But yeah, not even the weirdest adventure game book I own, I feel. First one really reminds you of Gamma World. Yeah, it is really along those same lines, isn't it? Choose one adventure books you remember were something about being a space captain and one called The Intergalactic Toaster or something like that. It's you, Rizalka! And then there's this one where it's just a normal day of Bob taking care of tears around a place where they live. And what happens? Yeah, somebody falls out of a tear called the Virus Hunter, who basically seems like Jonah Hex, except in ReBoot worlds, and has very original character Do Not Steal vibes. But he might be going a bit too far. And by a bit too far, the last playthrough we were doing, we saw the city blow up. But right now, the Virus Hunter, Torquay is his goddamn name. Seriously. He's got a big ass silver gun. That's the kind of character we're dealing with. Anyway, he's somewhere in mainframe. I think Bree's right. And I'll trust her memories over mine when it comes to ReBoot and shit. Then, yeah, he's flying about the city and they've just realised he might be dangerous. But now there's nulls heading towards mainframe, so obviously we need to go and deal with that. And we're about to die, aren't we? Flying low and waving his hands, Bob tries to turn the tide of nulls aside. They sense his life energy and start to follow him back towards lost angles. I will pronounce it right one of these times. Bob knows he has to hurry. While he's wasting time here, Torquay could be about to destroy the entire city. So roll a die. For a score of 5 or 6 we go one way, we don't. Why do I get the feeling this is bad ending? Okay. Bob flies on until he reaches the huge underground hall where Hexadecimal has her lair. The Virus Hunter is already there. Hexadecimal has trapped him in a tangled web of energy lines while she squats and gloats like a long-limbed spider. Also, what game destroys part of the system if and only if the player wins? I think there is a game like that. It was like Space Invaders, but every invader represented a file on your system. No. You really have to wonder how that sysop feels about the computer constantly freaking out, right? I mean, all the software's at war with itself, so that's not going to help anything. And things don't come out of tears because tears are memory leaks. Hexadecimal squats. I'm starting to think this is like that one Mass Effect book that was just notoriously lore-breaking. Oh yeah, you played that one. Was it Space Invaders? I'm starting to think it was a different style of game all of a sudden. But, you know, the point was you would shoot something, it would delete a file in your system. Yeah, the GameCube doesn't make sense. No, not at all. Bob flies on until he reaches the huge underground. Yeah, Torquay sees Bob and calls for his help. Pull me out of this web. If I can reach my gun, I'll delete her. No, I don't think that should help you at all, you weirdo. Pull you free so you can trash Lost Angels? Angles, fuck. I'm never gonna get this right. I mean, it gives you a reason for the NPCs to attack the player, but no. I don't think so. There are some things we have to sort out first. The Virus Hunter gives a terrifying shriek of rage and rips the strands of the energy web with his bare hands. See? I don't need your help. You aren't part of the solution, Bob, and that means you're part of the problem. He draws his gun. Hexadecimal conjures a dozen masks out of thin air. They float in a circle, surrounding Torquay and slowly rotating around him to cause confusion. Y'all confused yet? No? How about backwards? How about on 2 axes? Yeah. Where's your god now? Let me just double check I read that correctly. Conjures a dozen masks out of thin air. They float in a circle surrounding Torquay and slowly rotating around him to cause confusion.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't. It does not work. Thank you for the redeem, Nick. But the only other way I can visualize this is... Oh dear. We can't publish a ReBoot romance novel. Cut all that stuff out. But it'll be like 60 pages long. Use a bigger font. Fine, but I'm keeping myself insert. That is a reasonable explanation for how this came to be. So as I was pointing out earlier, Fighting Fantasy book, this book. Check out the difference in font size right there. And then on top of that, comparison of book size. Is that literally... Sorry, 52. I think you could actually fit more than two, you know, not, between 2 and 3 of the ReBoot book into the Fighting Fantasy book. Now they're fighting. Right, back to 52. The slowly rotating masks. The frustrated virus hunter gives vent to an angry snarl and fires at one mask after another. "You can't escape me this way, witch!" he cries. As each mask explodes, it emits a cloud of inky black darkness. Bob notices Hexadecimal flitting away at the back of the chamber. Realizing the full capacity of Torquay's power, she has sensibly decided to flee. The virus hunter falls into a brooding silence. See what I mean? Absolute OC bullshit. At first, Bob thinks he might be calming down, but any such hopes are dashed when Torquay suddenly announces he has the answer to all Mainframe's problems. "I shall delete everything," he decides. "After a total reformat, Mainframe will be free of viruses." You're technically not wrong, but yes, gasp. "It'll be free from all of us too," protests Bob. "A reformat would nullify everyone." Bob has to stop rebooting. Bob has to stop Torquay somehow. Should he try to do it alone? If you think so, page 26. Alternatively, he could enlist the help of Fong, Megabyte, or Hexadecimal. Did we turn to the right page? Because we could go back to Hexadecimal, but... yeah. So that just kills us anyway. But it kind of acts like the previous bit didn't actually happen. Unless I literally have gone to the wrong page. Fuck it, go see Megabyte. Do you have the code absent? If so, Megabyte has gone to ground and cannot be found. If you do not have this code, 36. Bob finds Megabyte in the top chamber of Silicon Tor. "I hate having to cooperate with you, Bob," says Megabyte in a growling voice. "But I do not want this maniac virus hunter to destroy my city." "Your city?" says Bob. "I think not." This doesn't end with Hack/Scuzzy and two random binomes forming Kmart Voltron and getting into a fight with OC, only to have Nullzilla save them at the last second. I'll be disappointed. And I'll be right there with you. That sounds amazing. Megabyte forces a smile. "I've sent the irritating Torquay an invitation to visit me here. Ah, and I see he's right on time." The doors burst open and Torquay stalks in. "The end of the line, virus," he says. "Look up there," Megabyte says calmly, and points to a gantry extending into the air. Above it, there is a shimmering in the air. "It's a tear," realizes Bob. Megabyte allows a slow smile to cross his face. "And it can be stabilized again to gain entry to the network." "Oh, Bob, stabilize it and go through. I'm sure you'll find something in the network that will give you the power to get rid of Torquay. Now, thing is, I do have the access code Fullman. So, we're going to 45. Torquay leaps to the gantry, climbing swiftly towards the tear. Fools! He screams madly. I'll gladly enter the network and delete mainframe from there. Then I'll reboot. Yeah, they said the thing. I'll reboot it from scratch, free of viruses. And free of everyone else too. You made that joke already, Bob. I can't allow that. Torquay's about to use his all-purpose gun to stabilize the tear. If you think Bob should try to catch him before he goes through, page 63. If you think he should use glitch to grab the gun away from Torquay, 72. Yeah, let's glitch this. Quickly, glitch, says Bob. Pincers. Glitch becomes a set of pincers that extend out swiftly on a telescopic arm. Torquay is adjusting his gun so that it will stabilize the tear into a portal which he can safely use to reach the network. But as he leaps towards the shimmering hole in the air, Glitch grabs the gun. The portal immediately destabilizes, becoming a tear again. Torquay gives a cry, more of outrage than fear, because, you know, we don't want to show weakness to our OC, as he's sucked into it. Then, there is silence. What's happened to him? Says Megabyte after a thoughtful pause. Bob shakes his head. Probably he's suffered the fate he intended for us. Nullification. Intriguing. I'll take his gun, Bob. I'd like to study it. Even as Megabyte is turning, Bob streaks past into the sky on his zipboard. Give this gun to Mainframe's public enemy number 1? I don't think so. Be seeing you, Megabyte. What if you have an independent thought? What's the page for that? Well, the technology for it just wasn't there. But the reboot in Season 3 fixed a lot of the problems, so nothing wrong with a reboot, New Dog, etc. You know, says Dot in the diner a few days later, I can't help but feel sorry for Torquay. Bob is so taken aback that he almost spills his coffee. Huh? What are you saying? Yes, sis, says Enzo. Get with the program. The guy was a high-density threat to the whole city. He could store more? Oh, whatever. Yes, Dot agrees. But he was only doing what he thought was right. Maybe, says Bob. But the important thing isn't to do what you think is right. It's to do what is right. I'll log on to that, says Dot. Doesn't actually tell us we've won or anything, just ends there. This bad boy can fit so much threat, yeah. So there you go. Oh, Bree, you've picked a hell of a time. No, you haven't picked it at all by the sound of it. It sounds like your laptop's rebelling against you. Yeah, we just got to the end of it. Turns out the Britty boy was a Britty fuck boy. So, what that proves to me is 1, don't cheap out on something just because it's for kids, and 2, I do not remember as much about ReBoot as I suspected. Service host. This mean is the bane of my streaming time. Boo. The one I'm dealing with at the moment is, was it audio in isolation encoding something or other? Something like that. Whatever it is. It either just takes up a shitload of memory or it's got a full-on memory leak. Yeah, as if, Megabyte. Like, imagine you died and then came back as a clone of me and didn't show yourself until you and Dot's wedding and then the whole series ended before we could resolve the situation. That would be weird. What the fuck, Enzo? Or Bob. Whoever it is. Whoever we're talking to. We just watched the musical number to explain the entire plot. Oh, there was an edgelord. Now there's not. It's alright, you've got ReBoot on DVD. I made it to DVD. That's weirdly heartwarming in a way. I'm glad that happened. So, Despite taking a little bit of a strain on the old voice there, I enjoyed that. And I have a couple more strange books of that nature to share with you all. Might end up doing a poll or something at some point. But for now, we shall see if there's anyone for to do a raid whilst you look at my veiny arms. No, I thought I was going to burp there, but it did not happen. Let's see. What's the recent reboot? Saw one episode and then read about how they came up with it. Oh, that does not sound like a good time. Sounds like something went very, very wrong. The recent series is a self-insert of the current CEO of Mainframe Entertainment's son. Oh god. This is starting to sound like Power Rangers, where somebody apparently got into making Power Rangers, like got on the actual creative crew just to make his fanfic canon. So would anyone have any objections if we went to raid somebody playing Pokemon Legends Arceus? Which I can only assume came out today, because it seems to be a thing amongst people what I am following. Also, it was made in Unreal Engine, which none of the animators knew how to animate with. Well, that is a dumb. But it didn't stop EA from moving everything to the Frostbite engine for no good goddamn reason. Isn't that how the Star Wars prequels were made? Okay, so we're gonna go and raid Anoxian, fellow Scottish person. Talks way, way faster than I do, so be prepared for that. But they are good, and you shall enjoy. It shall happen. Yes, it shall. And I can switch to the end screen while I'm at it. It's basically Power Rangers, human teens going into computers. Requirement to talk at speed. Oh, I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the subscribers. And for the redeems and goggles for the raids. In fact, I can name the subscribers. It's Rizalka and Zednator and the His Cursedness. Oh dear. But thank you so much for your company. And have a good evening. And we're going to raid. Say something nice when you get there. Doesn't matter what, as long as it's not horrible. Because it has to be something nice, you see. So there we go. Raid time.
Richie's satchel. Guy Ritchie! Guy Ritchie himself has lost his satchel. Yo! Thank you so much for the raid, Ikifu. How you doing? Thank you so much for the raid. How you doing, Ikifu? Ikifu. Something nice when you get there. Hello, his curseness. Hello, Enfy's prank. Hello, bisected brioche. How you doing? How you doing? Hello, the Wanderer 1990. Thank you so much for the raid, Ikifu. How you doing? How you doing? We're just playing some Pokemons. How you doing? I may have told people to say something nice. Then they came in here. When they came in here, something nice. Oh, like the cut of your jib. Welcome, 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 everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I hope you're all well. Something nice. What were you up to? You were just chatting. Were you doing anything else, or were you just having a wee chin wag? I'm good. Just been playing some adventure game books and dying repeatedly. Hello, Enfy's prank. Thank you so much for the follow, and hello. Hello to you too. Thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate it, as always. So you were playing adventure game books. Cool. What kind of adventure game books?
Hello.
A wee chinwag. A wee chinwag. Hello, His Cursed-ness. A wee cheeky chinwag. No, it's a pleasure to see you all. My name's Chris, if you are not aware. I'm a Soulsborne / Metroidvania streamer who's playing Pokemon because the Pokemon game has a dodge roll, and the dodge roll has iframes. So that means this game is a Soulsborne. I was not warned that you'd be explosively delightful, but I'm here for it. Aw, you sweetheart. Well, you're always welcome here too. Right now we're kind of like, I'm supposed to be doing something, but I'm like, nah. I'm supposed to be like doing a mission to find someone. Pokesouls. Exactly. Yo, Grave Daddy, how you doing? A fighting fantasy book, Robot Commando, and an official branded reboot. Reboot? Really? Adventure game, because yeah, that exists. Really? There's a reboot game? There's a reboot adventure book. How the fuck did you get that bear? It's a big bear. It's a big bear. I'm not spoiling anything, just in case you're playing Pokemon and you want to find out legit. But this is a Pokemon game that has like mounts and shit. It's really cool. And you throw your Pokemon to do stuff. It's a story mode. Story mode, what do you mean? Oh, Statler! The Statler doesn't see me. But it will see me as... No, the Statler's on. Christ, that's a huge Statler. I think I missed the point of Dark Souls. I never learned to dodge, I just great shielded my way through it. That is the best way to play though. That's the best way to